Well, hey everybody. How y'all doing today? I hope y'all are doing simply fantastic. I am doing just dandy, just fine and dandy. But guess what? I am cold. I had all intentions, I swear, all intentions of showing my face tonight. But I got cold and I had to go put on some warm clothes. I was like, oh no, I can't be looking cute. It's too cold for that. No, forget that tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. But y'all know y'all will be seeing my face in the place real soon, every day for a while. So just enjoy the breaks. So look, how y'all doing tonight? Tonight we're gonna go back. I'm doing just fine. Thank you for asking. My name is Kiki Loves Nigeria, and I am the host of this show. And on Kiki Loves Nigeria, we talk about anything and everything that impacts you visiting, repatting, doing business, expatting, everything that has to do with you going to Africa. It looks like Africa because we go all over Africa. We started off in West Africa, but we've branched off to bigger, to all over. Now we do stories about all over Africa. So our goal, we have a goal here. Our goal is that we want to keep you safe. We want to keep you safe. We want to provide you with information. So when you make choices about, doing business in Africa, living in Africa, building in Africa, doing construction in Africa, that you can make wise choices. So we give you enough information that you're able to make wise choices and wise decisions. All right, that's what we do with that's what we hope you do with the information. All right. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and do our disclaimers. Everything on this channel, sometimes I use copyrighted videos, which means these videos are on other people's YouTube channels. All right. But it's not my intent to infringe upon their copyright. Okay. That is not my intent. My intent is to use those videos as examples. Okay. To use those videos as public evidence, as as facts, factual information that you all can look at and you all can hear for yourselves. That way you don't have to say, well, Kiki said it. No, you can watch the video and you can see for yourself who said it. And then, like I said, that helps you make a wise, informed decision. So that's why, like I always say, it's not to attack anybody. It's not to bring anybody down. No, it's to that person is, and their data is merely an example. Okay. And that falls under the Fair Use Act because that becomes educational. It becomes news commentary. It becomes, what else did we do? Research with it. We report on it. So we do a lot of things with that information that we get. Okay. So, okay, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Hold on, I gotta text my niece. Okay, so that's why we use the information. It's just as facts, because I like to do a fact-based analysis. I don't like to use I don't use rumors. I don't use gossip. Everything I talk about, I can prove it with a receipt. Okay, I can back up what I'm saying with a receipt. Okay, and also opinions. Let's talk about those because people have to understand. Okay, this is my YouTube channel, so it's my opinion. Okay, if it's a criminal act like fraud or something like that, it's alleged. Okay, it's all alleged. It's what we think and what we feel from the information that we've received. You may feel something else. You may feel differently. So it's not a fact. Nothing we're saying, unless, like I said, unless I have a court document, and I say that all the time, unless I have a court document, it's only what I think and what I feel. And you guys, what you're saying is what you think and what you feel. The community is simply saying what they think and what they feel. And on this channel, we welcome opinions. All right. So everybody's entitled to say what they think and what they feel. And again, if it's a criminal act, it's alleged. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I'm none of that. So I can't, and I'm not God. So I can't pass judgment on somebody and say, yes, this person is guilty of this. No, I don't do that. I don't have the power to do that in the first place. All right. So that's one thing I want to clear up about our channel, because our channel is not about that. Our channel is really about spreading information. It's a resource channel about spreading information to keep you safe. Whatever questions you have about traveling to Africa, I want you to be able to come to this channel and look on this channel and look through the videos and be like, oh yeah, she got a video about it. Kiki got a video about it. Let me check out her video. That's what I want this channel to be about. Not where people are like, oh, she's going to attack this person. No, nobody does that nobody does that here. Okay. So I wanted to make that 100% clear. All right. So tonight, let me see. I did the disclaimers. Yeah, let me go to my script. Yeah, I spent hours creating a script only not to follow the dang on script. So, all right. So tonight we're peeling back layers once again. Y'all know on Kiki Loves Nigeria, we like to dive deep. We like to get a deeper understanding of what's going on. We don't stay on the surface. Yeah, we're not surface people. I don't like surface people. People who just stay on the surface and they have no depth. We go deep on this channel. All right. So tonight we're talking about something that has a lot of complex information in it. Okay. And it's a deeply sensitive topic on so many levels. People have connected with these women that we're talking about tonight. And people want to know what happened to them. I think about them from time to time. I can say there's not one month that goes by where I don't think about them. Not one. Wait a minute, hold on. 1 second. I'm trying to cook and talk to y'all at the same time. And I got to take this food out the oven. So I was saying, hang on 1 second and I'll be right back. Oh. Okay. So somebody coming in the house, I'm going to have them do it. All right. So it's not 1 month goes by that I don't think about, these stories about these women and what happened to them. It's just sad to me that when you go to Africa and most of these women, I'm going to just assume they were Pan-Africanists. Okay. Only because of them moving to Africa, because most people who move to Africa are Pan-Africans. And just things about them, the way they spoke, the way they did things. I'm assuming, because I don't know for sure, but some of them I do know for sure. Like I believe the Salter sisters were a part of this Pan-African movement. We're going to play a video about her though. So it seemed like they were all somehow a part of this Pan-African movement. And then I was like, wait a minute, something else I noticed about them besides this Pan-African movement stuff was I noticed that these women were, they seemed spiritual, like all the ones that I've talked about, they seemed like they were into African spirituality just by the way they talked. So that was another thing that I noticed. And then I thought about how African spiritual, this once again, this Pan-African movement romanticizing, this Africa that is not to be romanticized, because Africa is not playing with anybody, but we think Africa, what we believe about Africa is not real. Okay. It is not real. Africa is not a victim. She never has been a victim. Okay. She's never have been somebody that you need to feel sorry for. She never has. So that's the first mindset. To go feeling like she's a victim and she needs you to fix her. No, she don't need you to fix her. If she wanted to be fixed, the areas you see that are not fixed, if she wanted to fix those areas, trust and believe. she would fix those areas. And it wouldn't take her long to do it. And if you traveled around Africa, you would know what I'm talking about. Africans can do whatever they want to do when they want to do it. Have you seen those cities? Have you seen those cities? I'm not talking about those towns and villages that the passport grannies want to show us and that these land people selling land want to show us. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the cities. Have you seen them? Have you seen the housing there? And I'm not talking about where the locals live. Have you seen all of that? And have you noticed how rapidly those areas developed and are developing? So that just should tell a rational mind that Africa can do whatever she wants to do whenever she wants to do it. It's just what you're focusing on. Maybe she's not trying to do that. So that mindset that I got to go and fix Africa, that's setting you up too. That's setting you up too. Setting us all up. I got to go over there and I got to serve. That's setting you up too. So this whole mindset comes from this, and this is all my opinion. I told you, okay? This is from what I'm looking at and what I'm reading and what I'm seeing about what's happening to these women. All right. And there's what's the connection? What are they going over there for? Because the Pan-African system is telling them to go over there. This Pan-African belief is saying, if you believe in this dream, then this is what you do. But the problem is the romanticizing. Pan-Africans put this Pan-African view, this belief, puts us in unsafe positions. Okay, when we go back to the continent, excuse me, because we're going over there with this view, that this Pan-African view, all right, and that's everybody's our brother and everybody's our sister. And I'm going to explain that to you because I'm assuming people know, but that is the worst thing you can do. And that's one thing I always talk about is you should never assume that a student knows anything. You should never assume that they have a base knowledge of what you're talking about. So I've been just assuming that people understand what I'm talking about, but people don't. I can't assume that. You know what I mean? I cannot assume that. So I said, okay, I need to make sure that they understand what Pan-African is. When Pan-Africanism, I need to define that. And then I also need to make sure they understand about this African spirituality and how that is deeply tied to Pan-Africanism. So I was trying, if you've watched me in the videos talking about these women, you would know that I'm always talking about these Rasta, how they get up with these Rasta people. And I'm like, why are they always with these, oh, thank you. Okay, I'm talking to my niece. Okay, I said, why are they always with these Rasta people, right? Okay, so that's when, while I was researching for this show, I started thinking, they probably think these Rasta people is their connection to African spirituality. They don't understand Rastafarianism is a whole different belief than West African spirituality. Because most of these people, from what they're speaking out of their mouth, they're trying to follow Ifa, which comes from Nigeria and which is founded by the Yorubans. So they don't realize that's what they're trying to follow. So they hook up with these Rastas because in their mind, the dreads are spiritual. The how the Rastas drink and eat is spiritual. The way they speak to them, is spiritual. So they hooking up with these wrong type of people. And I'm not saying the Rastas are wrong type of people. I'm saying that these fake Rastas, because these aren't real Rastas. And again, this is my opinion. These people, let me say, how can I say this in a better way? All right. These people who don't, well, I don't know how other to say, but I don't think they're real Rastas. Okay. Because, and why I think they're not real Rastas are because of the things that they do. Real Rastas don't scam you. Real Rastas don't take money from you. Real Rastas don't set you up. Real Rastas don't do any of that. So you can tell by their actions what they say out their mouth and what their actions are. They're going to tell you whether they're a real Rasta or they're a fairy tale Rasta, okay, or a wannabe Rasta, whichever one you like. And I believe why these women hook up with these men again is because of this romanticizing of Pan-Africanism and us women and men fully not understanding West African spirituality and the role that it is playing in where we are and what we're living and what we're doing. All right. So this movement is rooted in unity. All right. Pan-African is all about that. Pan-Africanism is all about unity and it's all about homecoming. All right. It's all about going home. Hold on. Let me go over here and put this up here. So so that's the first thing you got to understand. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I want to put this up here because I said, I want to show an image of Pan-Africanism without words. Like, I want people to see it, what it looks like. You know, I don't want to describe it. I want to be able to show it to them so they can see what this looks like. So this is the image that I came up with. Well, I didn't come up with, but this is the image that was presented. All right. So this is what Pan-Africanism is supposedly, its doctrine is all about. All right. It's all about unity. It's all about people. It's all about us working together. It's all about us going back home. Okay. Back home. Now you have to remember that this generation, us living people right now, going back home. But unfortunately, that Africa was none of our homes. Okay. Our homes are in the West. That's what we keep forgetting. We skip that part. And maybe when this Pan-African system was coming up, we didn't understand that fully. But our great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents are from Africa. They were born on that soil. Okay, they were born on the soil. They walked on the soil. Okay, so that's their home. It's not our home. Our home is what soil we've walked on. All right. And we walked on this soil in America. So that's why they call us the Africans born in America, because everything changes where you're born. When you're born here, you know what's going to change. Your language changes first. Your customs change. Your culture changes. It doesn't get wiped out, but it changes. It adapts to its environment. So you change. And you can't deny that change. And to deny that change will deny who you are, who we are. And that's what's been going on with this Pan-African movement. We have been denying who we are and embracing something that trying to embrace something that we've never been. And that's my argument is that's why it continues to fail. That's why we continue to get hurt. Because we're chasing a dream. We're chasing something we've never been African. We've always been African American, Black American, Negroes, Blacks. And if you look them all up, they don't say African. It says one who descends from Africans. We're their offspring. We're their descendants. If anything, that's to show the power of Africa and Africans. They got a whole set in Africa. And then they got a whole nother set. They got a whole set of kids, grandkids in America, in the Caribbean, and in the UK. We got to understand that. It's like when you go over your grandma's house, you know, your great-grandma's house, and how everything is different over there. It's like you step back in time. It's just like that, because her house is her house and her rules are different. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that's what we have to understand. And it's okay not to be an African. It's okay to descend from Africans. It's okay to be an African who was born in America. It's okay to descend from Africans. It's okay. That's okay. That is 100% okay. But I'm talking about the Africans. Let me get that clear, okay? Because people get things mixed up. I'm talking about the Africans who came over here during the transatlantic slave trade and their descendants. Those are the ones they're talking about, okay? This whole new thing with people taking on the African-American name and cultural appropriation and all that, that's not what I'm talking about right now, okay? That's a whole different show. So those are the people I'm talking about. So I need to make that clear. I'm talking about those Africans who came over here during the slave trade, who had children, and those children had children, and those children had children, and those children had children. We're their offspring. And that's something to be proud of. That's something to be celebrated. Do we go back to Africa? Yes, 100%. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Go back to visit, go back, you know, have a great time. But to go back and claim Africa as your own, that's like you going to your grandmother's house telling her, oh, this is my house now. This is my chair. You know how they love to sit in them recliner chairs. This is my recliner chair now. You ain't sitting here no more, Nana. This is my chair. This is my house. Everything in here belongs to me because I'm back. That ain't going to go over well. And that's the same thing that's going on here. That's the same thing that's going on here. But does Pan-Africanism tell us that? No. No. It tells us to embrace everything about Africa and that we know nothing about, including this spirituality. Including that. There's a dangerous side to viewing Africa solely through the lens of idealism. And that's what we've been doing. We've been viewing it through idealism, and it's been costing us our most vulnerable population, our women, our women. Because they've been following the call. They've been honoring the call. They've been doing what Pan-Africanism told them to do. But did it warn them? Did it warn them about what could happen to you? Did it warn the Salter sisters? Did it warn Naomi? Did it warn Lisa Ngozi? Did it warn her? No. Did it warn Asia Africa? Did it warn Audrey? Did it warn Veronica? No. It told us to go and make change, make noise, make change. Africa's ours. Take it back. And look what happened. Now we're on here talking about some women that I didn't even know. They call them now the Mysterious Five. They got a name for them on the internet now. The Mysterious Five. That's what they call the women that passed away in the Gambia. The Mysterious Five. Did the Pan-Africans tell us about that? Do they even know they call them the Mysterious Five? Do they even know about the Mysterious Five? And again, I'm not saying don't go to Africa. But I mean, if you want to live there and get you a little summer house or whatever, or rent you some property, but I'm not one who's in for going back and trying to own their land. I'm not in for that. I don't recommend that at all. That seems to cause people lots and lots and lots and lots of problems. So I don't promote that at all. Not at all. And I know there's people going to say, oh, but they had, some people have built and had no problems. But the problem is you don't own that land. You're leasing it like a house. In Gambia, it's for 21 years, and in Ghana, it's 50 years. So what happens to it after that? You got to pay to renew the lease and start all over again? And what if you pass away before the 50 years is up? Do your kids get the house? Do they inherit the house, or do they got to come and pay some money? Because the Salter sisters, from what I've been studying and researching, nobody is in that house yet. We're going to get to that, though. Her son is not in that house. Her sisters, her other sisters, are not in that house. We've talked about land dispute after land dispute after land dispute on this channel. And I see what people have went through. And I'm not going to recommend anybody go through that. I'm not going to recommend anybody go through that. And that's just my opinion. And I'm entitled to that. If you're not married to one of them, I wouldn't be doing that. And if you're married to one of them, you need to let them handle that. Because if you don't, you're going to get taken advantage of. And you're going to end up lose everything you own and your LIFE, like the women we're talking about. Again, seeing Africa through the lens of this idealism. So tonight we're going to look closely again at the lives of these women who moved to the continent, and which was fueled by Pan-African ideals. I know it was. I can tell by the way they talk. I can tell by what the Salters were doing, sisters were doing before they left. They were heavily involved in the community, in this movement that was going on back then. The power, I call it the power to the people movement, but that probably wasn't the name. Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped on the cat, y'all. She was under me. But the power to the people movement, she was heavily involved with that. My mother, my uncles and aunts were heavily involved with that. So it was all about Pan-Africanism. It was all about unity. So, again, the idealism. We're going to look and see. Did this idealism play a tragic role in them losing their lives? Going over there, the Salter sisters thinking she could be a chief? She thinking she can be a chief and she can own land and she can do things that men can do? Y'all, it ain't like here. It's not like here. People, the United States is not like Ghana. It is not like Gambia. You can't even really get in an argument on the streets like that. So, did these women move to the continent fueled by Pan-African ideals, only to tragically lose their lives? And then we're going to look at the role of spirituality, how it plays in this journey, because people don't realize that. Like I said, I was assuming that they knew African spirituality was tied to this movement, but I didn't even really realize it until, like I said, when I was doing the show tonight, when I was researching about these women, and I remember thinking all of them seem to be tied to this African spirituality, are moving in this African spirituality, because one sign, remember, they always talked about their ancestors. They always talked about them. And that's the main sign. All right. So I'm going to show you some video. I'm going to show you real quick what it is. So, but does the spiritual openness cause you to let your guard down? That was the question I started asking myself. So this Pan-Africanism calls us to embrace this African spirituality. And then once we embrace the African spirituality, all right, and this unity, that calls us to let our guard down. That's the question that I'm asking. Does that cause us to let our guard down? And that's what the question I was asking while I was researching about these women for updates. So when we stop thinking logically because we feel like we're at home, do we become a target? Do we become a target because we stop thinking logically? Because in the thing I see these women doing in Africa, I would never do that. And I've been there so many times, honey, I can't even count. But you will never see me doing the stuff that they do. Never. Because I don't idealize Africa. I know the truth about Africa. I don't romanticize it. I used to. I used to be like everybody else. And like I said, I haven't had anything bad to happen to me over there. I always have a beautiful, wonderful time. I'm always safe. I'm always secure. But from these stories that people have shared with me, I'd be foolish to assume that the experience I have is the only experience, and that these realities for these women, like the Salter sisters and Veronica and Audrey and Anja, like none of that happened. Like that didn't happen to them. And oh, that's their problem. No, that's our problem. Because for it to happen to so many women who have different backgrounds, no, that's something, there's something going on there. There's something going on there. So that's what I thought tonight. All right, let me see where we are. So that's what we're talking about tonight. So go get your popcorn, go get it ready, go get your dinner ready, because this evening we're going to have an honest kind of conversation. All right, we're going to talk about these cautionary tales, and we're going to look at a balance between cultural love and personal safety, because there's no way these women should have been living alone. I'm sorry. Would you go live alone in the hood? Think of the worst hood in your city. Would you go live alone over there? With all your money and all your nice goods, and your house is the nicest house on the block. Would you do that? Would you do that? All right, let me get y'all comments. Hi, T and K. Hey, Susan. Hi, brown eyes, brown skin. I'm sorry. I was late, wanted to be on time. Oh, thank you for being on time. They are fake Rastas, in my opinion. T and K, they are fake Rastas. They are fake Rastas. And I notice it's a lot of fake Rastas. It's a lot of them. They don't even know what it's all about. They just call themselves Rastas because they have dreads. And in Gambia, they associate the dreads with criminals. Just sound like the same in Ghana. Because remember when the dude Nana was explaining what type of dude he felt like, what's his name was? Super Shorty. He said they had dreads like that. He said, that was the first sign that they have dreads. Because no serious businessman has dreads over there. Most of us are not Africans. No. I mean, the Africans are born in Africa. We're North Americans. Okay? But we're North Americans. And UK people are UK people. Caribbean people are Caribbean people. I don't believe in the Pan-African. Crystal says, the comment was by Mr. D. Coleman. Crystal says, I don't believe in the Pan-African ideology. I was born in the UK and my parents are Jamaican. I have never felt accepted by, oh my God. That's so sad. She said, I've never been accepted. I've never felt accepted by Africans, and I don't see myself as an African. And other than the Africans that I've been around, like in my personal circle who really know me, she's right. This person, Crystal, is right. I can't say that I felt accepted by them. No, no. Mm-mm. I've always felt like, because I've always felt like I was stared at, and if I was accepted, you're not going to stare at me like that. You're not going to watch me like that. Like from the time I get out the car or from the time I step out the door, out the gate, it's like you're all eyes on me. And if I was accepted in your culture, that would not be occurring. You wouldn't even notice me. So you're not accepting me. You're noticing something about me that's different, and you're studying that, trying to figure that out. And then if you truly accepted me, oh, wow, things would be so different from us when we go to visit. And even the Africans here. I had some good friends who were Africans, who are Africans, but that was only because, I was lucky enough to meet some Africans who were cool. And one of them, she was brought here when she was 6. And then the other one, she came here to go to the university. And, she had been around people who were from the West. So they were different. And it seemed like the Africans who come from the upper class Africans, the ones I've been around, they are more exposed to people from different cultures and from the West. And they don't, to me, have that, I don't know, that energy, that negative, I don't like you, whatever, Black American energy. I wish our race would do away with the African American. Mr. D. Coleman says, well, all we'd have to do is organize and pass out petitions and just say what we want to be called, and they would do it. We just have to ask them. That's the thing. We just have to organize and tell them. First, we got to decide what we want to be called. Some people like being called African American. Some people like being called Black Americans. Some people like being called Blacks. Some people want to just be called Americans. So you have to just sit and ask them, somehow you got to get everybody together or get them to take a survey and ask them, what do you want to be called? Are you cool? But they need to understand what's going on with this African American term now. They need to clearly understand that, or either like when you have to check the box, they need to have something. Now I noticed they have some jobs, that are just for U.S. citizens. It used to say permanent resident or U.S. citizen. It doesn't say that. Now it says U.S. citizen. So, they need to differentiate some type of way how they're going to do that between the Africans who have come here and have kids, then the FBA people call us the firstborn Americans. Is that what they call them? Firstborn Black Americans? Like something like that. They need something like that. But people got to come together to do that. If not, we're going to keep losing benefits. We're going to keep losing titles. Look at all those Africans who are in Congress now. And I bet you they have them down as Black Americans, as African Americans. They'll fill the slots with I'm telling you. Because when I was at the university, when I worked at the university, that was a big debate. That was a big issue. The Black professors were upset because there were scholarships that were for Black Americans, the firstborn Black Americans who were from the descendants of the slave trade. All right, because that was the definition. That's what we thought the definition was. But if you look in the dictionary, what did I tell you? Descends from Africans. So they're like, well, hey, we descend from Africans. So it descends from Africans, okay? So people have been taking that title, and these students would be applying for scholarships that were intended for Black Americans, and we're not getting the scholarships. They're getting the scholarships. So the professors noticed this a long time ago. So professors have been sounding, Black American professors have been sounding the alarm. Not all of them, because it's never absolute, but a lot of them have been sounding alarm that this is going to be problematic for the firstborn Black American from the slave trade. They're going to have problems from this because somebody else is appropriating their culture and somebody else is appropriating their benefits. Look at Congress and see how many of us are in there. And I ain't talking about Black folks. I'm talking about Michael Jackson's, typical names like that. With some more Black names, Michael Jackson, Roger Nelson. Look and see if those Black people are up in there. My grandparents came, been in this country over 500 years, nearly 500 years. They came over here during the slave trade. Look for those Black Americans and tell me how many you see in our Congress. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked. So like, again, this has been going on for a while. University professors have been sounding the alarm, but until the community gets alarmed, till the community takes a stand, it just continues. It just continues. Hey, London lady. Good evening, Kiki Loves Nigeria. How y'all doing? She said, Crystal, she helps all as well. Heavy panel time. Yeah, Negro, I forgot. Negro was another one. That was another one. That was the first one, Negro. They used to love being called the Negro. And what does the Negro say? The Negro says the same thing. One who descends from Africans. Yep, Negro. I think that's what was our first thing, was the Negro. And then we moved to the Blacks. And then we moved to the African American. Then we moved to that. So we've changed our name over time. Mr. D. Coleman says he's doing good. He says, okay, and those Africans are not our people either. Okay, what you mean? Explain that to me, okay? I had to get the door, but wanted Kiki to know that I was here. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Hey, she says she's greeting everybody. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking, you are silly. Is that your Gambian? What? TK, why are you asking how old is he? Because it says Negro on there. They said Negro. When did they change it? I think it said Negro for a long time, y'all. I don't know when they start calling us officially Blacks. I think it said Negro for a long time until we made them change it to Black Americans. So I don't know. I don't know. That's a good one to find out. Okay. Kiki, you are the only person I've ever heard tell the truth, Crystal says. Those poor women were sold a nightmare, not a dream. I know. And that hurts me because that could have been me. Except for the grace. If it wasn't for the grace of God who said not so, that could have been me. That could have been me. You know how many times I've been to Africa by myself? But what I did, I followed a plan that they taught me at the university. You don't just go willy-nilly. You don't let your guard down. You find yourself people that you know over there who know somebody. You meet that person here. And once Africans befriend you, they take you in. And you become their responsibility. They'll put you with a person. And that person, you become their responsibility. But what if they would have put me with a bad person? You see what I'm saying? Like what's happened with these people. These people just went. At least I knew from the university I could never just go. I knew that. I knew I could never just go. Even to the Gambia, when I went, who did I go with? John. Remember? I didn't know anybody in the Gambia. I didn't know anybody in Dayton from the Gambia. I knew somebody in Cincinnati, a girl who did my hair, and she was really a nice lady. I know I really liked her. She could cook good. I remember that. And I remember she used to do my hair, and she was really nice. And she was from Gambia, and she always told me I should go to Gambia, blah, blah, blah. But that was it. But I never, nothing in my mind ever said it was ever okay for me to go and live by myself in Africa and take everything I have and build me a house and become a target. Good afternoon, Debo. She says hello to everybody. No, none of them. Mr. DC says, oh, she says, y'all, thumbs up the live. Like the live for us, okay, y'all? Mysterious 5, wow. Avoidable losses of life. And that's what I said, TNK. I was like, wow, they got a name for them. But guess what I said, the bright side? I said, we did it. Y'all don't know what we did. Because you know what? When I look up these names, guess what? It comes up when it says community advocacy. It comes up with Kiki Loves Nigeria. It talks about what we've been doing on this channel and how we've been trying to get the message out and all the things we do to advocate for these ladies. When I started, y'all know, when I did each one of their stories, there was nothing. I think Naomi, I've never talked about her. This will be the first time I've ever talked about her. But she had information out. But most of these women, oh, and the Salter sisters, of course, they had information out. But the Mysterious 5, y'all know we was the only ones putting that information out. And then O'Shea joined us. O'Shea decided to help us because he knew he could reach further than I could. And then y'all know who else helped us a lot? Dinah Samir. Dinah Samir helped us a lot. He even had me on his show. And Dinah Samir has a huge reach. They helped us. They helped us. And now you know whose name is tied to advocating for these women, for keeping their stories alive? Our name is tied to that. And even Kinganda, they even had him on there as helping to get these stories out. And y'all know that's O'Shea's other channel. But before y'all, there was nothing. There was all the noise we've been making. Remember when we got into it with all them ladies in the Gambia? Remember that? And they was on here on the live and we was going back and forth. It was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. We was going back and forth for days when they was trying to get that $175,000 out of us, talking about Anja needed it to pay hospital bills. But guess what? There was no information about Anja back then, but it is now. And Anja's story is the one they're mostly talking about. They're talking about them now. So this is not in vain. What we're doing for these 3 hours on here, talking about these stories, keeping these women, keeping them alive. This is not in vain, y'all. So we're making a big difference, and we got to know that. 99 years is in some African countries, but none of it is worth it. 99 years, honey, I'm not living there for no 99 years. They need to quit playing with themselves. They not living there, and they know they ain't living. But I guess, people play this game. But I think what it is, I'm going to tell you, I think they get so, after they spent all their money, they realize, oh, I've spent everything I have, now I got to stay. And that's what I feel. That's what I feel like this is, okay? So, yeah, this, let me take this one down yet. I don't want that one up here yet. I got to wait till we get to that topic. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like I said, unless you're married to one of them. And it can't just be anybody there. It can't be no small boy like Kenza is with. You can't be with no small boy like Super Shorty. You cannot. You got to be with a man, and a man who's ingrained and respected inside of that society. You got to be. If you're a woman, if you're a man, you just need to get you a respectable woman. And then she'll have a male family member who help you out, who usually go and speak for you, because there's a language barrier a lot, but they'll go and represent you and have your best interest at heart. So he's right. Is it worth it? Most of the time, I don't think it's worth it. Because if you want to if I'm gonna put everything I have into a house, I want at least my grandbabies to be able to live in that house. I want my grandbabies and my great grandbabies to be able to come to that house. And I want that house to be their house. I want that to be our family house, because sometimes times get hard. Sometimes your kids got to come back home. I want there to be a home for my kids to come back to. You see what I'm saying? I still think about the past. I do too, Debo, all the time. That's why I say it's not a month that doesn't go by that I don't think about them, or I'll have a subtle reminder of them. The subtle reminder of them. Like when I was getting ready for my trip, and I was, looking at this house where we were going to be staying, and I thought about seeing some signs or something about Bruford Beach, and I remember that was the beach where the soul food restaurant was. And I remember that Anja and some ladies had went there and did some kind of remembrance or some kind of spiritual stuff. They didn't know what they was doing on the beach, in my humble opinion. Remember, this is all my opinion, okay? From what I saw, I didn't think they knew what they was doing, but maybe in their head they knew what they was doing, okay? This is what I think and what I feel, all right? So, I was thinking about that. And the thing that really bothers me the most about Anja is where she's buried. She was buried on the beach. Like, do they even bury people on the beach? Like, won't her body get washed away or something? And I'm like, then I'm thinking, do people even go visit them? Does she have visitors to her grave, or is it even it's just really sad all the way around. The biggest cities in Africa were developed by the Europeans, Afrikaners, or the Arabs. Eddie says, well, honey, they are nice. That's why I said they can do whatever they want to do. They can hook up with who they want to hook up with. That's why they ain't studying you when you're talking about the Europeans, and when you're talking about them Arabs and the Lebanese. They ain't thinking about what you're talking about. They like, please. These people are the ones over here building up our country. These people are the only ones are over here bringing housing over here. These people are over here bringing all kind of construction over here, roads and building everything. And you want to come over here and complain, but you just building one house for you and your family? Please sit down somewhere and be quiet. The African men see foreign women very differently, Crystal say. We are nothing but a cash machine. Well, I hope all of them don't think like that, Crystal. I really hope they all don't think like that. A majority of them, yes, I do believe that. But all of them, let me see. I'm trying to think. Even my ex from Nigeria, he didn't think I was a cash machine. He had his own money. Most of the ones I be talking to, they have their own money. So they don't look at me as no cash machine. They're like, they have their own. That needs to be your first prerequisite, though, to talk to them. Do they have their own money? If they ain't got no job and ain't got their own money, then you don't need to be talking to them. Most of them can't build nothing. They depend on foreigners to build their continent. Yes. But they do what? Now, I'm not even going to build it. I'm going to let you build it, and you're going to come and do it. So what negotiating skills do you have that you're able to do that? You got some skills. You got some real skills. That's why I said Africa can do whatever she wants to do. We all know who's building those cities, but they're getting them built. That's the point. And who's building them? Not them. They got somebody else, a whole different race of people building them for them. Go, leave me alone. I am sure there are good ones, but will be spoken for like you get a good one, like you got a good one. But no, you just got, if you want a good one, you need to pray and ask God for a good one. That's all you got to do. And trust God. And don't say, oh, they all just want your money, because then that's all you're going to pull to you. But if you want a good one, you can find a good one, honey. You can find, it's a whole bunch of African men, honey. It's a whole bunch of, it ain't no shortage, never, ever on them. So, no, you just need to pray, seek God's face, and tell him what you want and what you don't want. No, you ain't even got to say what you don't want. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you want. And watch. Put yourself, leave yourself open to opportunity. You can't stay in the house, though. You gotta go out where you can meet people and make those moves, and you'll meet the right person, and you'll know. Also, Kiki was very familiar with the culture, not just visiting, but study. Yes, T and K. And I think that's another thing. I was extremely familiar with the culture, and she's right. I studied it. So I knew it formally. I knew it professionally. You know what I mean? And I knew the do's and don'ts were in the test. And I had to write about why it was a do and why it was a don't. You see what I'm saying? And I had to write about what were the possibilities of what could happen to you. So all of this, she's absolutely right. That was another thing that made a huge difference. Kofo Blue says, exactly. So glad I didn't fall for the trap. Once you go with your eyes open, you know exactly. Happy paddle time. Kiki, do you remember the first feeling you felt the first time you went to Africa? Yep. That is part of Africa's spirituality. Yep. And he's right. The first time you go, whoa. Whoa. It was like, I can't even describe how I was feeling. I was someplace, I don't know how to, I can't even put it in words, y'all. I cannot. And that was in Cameroon. And today, to this day, Kumba, Cameroon still has a special place in my heart. Because, oh my God, the first time you go, and it's this, now this is if you really are connecting to Africa. All right, that you really are connecting and you really are open to it. And once you open yourself up to it, that's when the real spiritual connection comes in. And when you feel that, oh my God, you just want to, it's like a drug, and you got to keep going back, and you got to keep going back. You become addicted to it, and you keep going back, and you keep going back. And it's the oneness with self. That's what I like. It's the oneness of self with nature, pretty much, with everything around you. Even the people. It's not like here when you're alone. If you're alone there, it's because you choose to be. So he's right. That is, I can't even describe how that feeling felt. Wow, honey. Hey, honey child, how you been? You didn't miss it. It's not that. We just got started. Hey, T&K says, welcome to Kiki School of Life. Please hit the like button. Thank you. All right. Fundamental Black Americans. Okay, that's what they're called, FBA. Fundamental Black Americans. Yes, it needs to be something like that to distinguish the groups, okay? Because now they've got all the groups mixed up. And some people leave money, like wealthy people pass away, okay? And they'll say, well, I want to leave this money to some Black people because I know they had a rough time, or maybe my grandparents, were slave owners and I feel guilty and I don't want that, so I'm gonna, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna, give this money to Black Americans or to African Americans, because that's what's on the little card. That means anybody who, Anybody who's here who's African can check that box, because they'll say, well, I'm African and I'm in America, so I'm African American. Yeah, it's just that simple. So there needs to be something to distinguish the two groups. That's just, again, my personal opinion. In the past, I've gone to African hairdressers to give them a chance. It's not been a good experience. No, they messed up my hair really, really bad. And when they were cool with me, but when I was going with this one and I was cool with her, but after a while, my ex was telling me that your hair can't take those braids because they put them in too tight. And he was saying that your hair will start thinning, but they won't tell you that your hair is thinning and you need to stop getting the braids because they want to keep the money coming in. So yeah, you can't trust them with that, because they don't really care about my experience is they don't really care about your hair, the healthiness of your hair like that. Crystal says, I helped an African mother of 3 and her children to escape Zimbabwe from her abusive husband. See, now that I wouldn't have been doing that. That's a little bit too much. Like that, I wouldn't have been doing that. I'm sure there's some programs there. She could have went to one of them, or the United, what is that, Red Cross, somebody. Lance says, much love and respect. Same thing to you, Lance. Kofi says, don't forget we were called, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Colored. I think colored was when my mom, when they were little, they were called colored. Yeah, was it? Yeah, y'all, because Negro was a sense of pride. We went from colored, because they call us the colored, remember? The colored restroom, the coloreds are over there. I forgot about that. Ooh, you went way back when you said the colors. So yeah, it was the coloreds, it was the Negroes, it was the blacks, then it was the African Americans, and we've been them a long time, so we need to distinguish ourselves again. Anne was a beautiful woman, extremely talented, but her husband and family broke her spirit with all the beatings. Oh, wow. Heavy Pedal Time says he's 52. That's terrible. My birth certificate never said anything like that. Really? Ours does. They want to know. They keep track of that. But UK is totally different from the United States. Yeah, it's kind of alike, but y'all laws are different. And I think y'all laws are mainly a little different. I don't know, but I was going to research this. It's because y'all still have that royal family. And I think y'all laws are in place mainly to protect that royal family more than it is the everyday citizen. Like our laws are to protect the people, the everyday person, not because we don't have a royal family anymore. Well, we never did. The Britons were. Remember, the Queen was until we said we ain't doing that no more. Slash and Bum Fitness says, I was born in 1970 and my birth certificate says Negro. I told y'all we was called Negroes for a long time. And my friend, he was from West Virginia. Y'all, he used to crack me up because he would talk like how the white people, the country white people would talk in West Virginia. And he said they couldn't say Negro. They would say Negros. They said they would call you a Negro. And he said, and when they would call you a Negro, he said they would think they was doing you a favor. He said they would think they was really being respectful by saying them Negros. That was hilarious to me. He said he's from Connecticut. So is Quasi. What are they putting on the birth certificates now, honey? Probably, I don't know. Are they putting Black American, y'all? Kiki, why are the African men so violent on the BBC? They're attacking children and young people. Because what I think is because they don't like conflict. They don't like to be held accountable. Like when you hold them accountable, they don't like, especially by no woman. They don't want you to hold them accountable for nothing. And this isn't all of them. You know, I'm just generalizing right now. So this is what I'm thinking of what I see when they get angry like that. Is because something they know in their heart, because African culture has a lot of strict rules that men have to abide by. And if they don't follow their cultures, they believe that this spirituality is going to get them. Their ancestors, they're going to have to answer to their ancestors. So they're really angry with themselves. So instead of them, trying to work on themselves and release this anger in a more positive light, they just become more abusive. That's what I've learned, and I just don't deal with African men like that. No, and that was one thing. I had an African professor, and me and him were really cool. And I went to Cam. He's the one who took us all to Cameroon. And he always told me, he said, Kiki, there's two types of African men. He said, there's the kind that will beat you, and there's the kind who will not beat you. He said, because the ones who will beat you, they're going to beat you for anything, regardless of what you do, they're going to beat you. He said, but then there's those ones, no matter what you do, they will not put their hands on you because they don't beat women. Yeah, and he's absolutely right. Didn't they say our Kathy was buried on the beach? I don't believe that. Well, honey, they buried Anja on the beach. Imagine if the chief doesn't like your build, your home, or wants your money or something. T and K, that's exactly what happened to the Salter sisters. I don't know about living it up to God, Kiki. Some of those women are ignoring research, just claiming the spirit led them to the Most High. Now, TK, you sound like O'Shea, because when I read the spirit, their spirit led them to the Most High, I heard him say in my head, or the Most Lie. So, no, you have to know, because for one, the spirit is not going to talk in your head. So he doesn't talk in you. You're not going to hear it in your head. It's a vibe. It's a vibration you'll feel. It's hard to explain, but it's it's not in your head. If it's in your head, that's not the spirit of God. That's something. That's your ego talking to all them spirits around you. All right. So no, the spirit of God, you got to, that's why he says, those who know my true people, they know my voice. The people who follow me, those who are of me, they know my voice. So the voice is like a still small voice in the center of your soul, which is like the center of you where your heart and stuff is. It's right there, and that's where you'll hear you feel it. It's like a vibration, and the voice will tell you. You just got to learn to listen, but it's not loud and it's not pushy. That's how you'll know the difference. And if you ignore it, it'll just go away. It won't push. It'll just be like, okay, I'll leave you alone, like that. Nobody had to say anything to me. I was a little emotional. Yes, they braid too tight and they overcharge. Honey, they really overcharge now, Gail. I don't go to them no more. I can't believe what they charge now. They need to stop. They need to really stop. Okay. I know it's generalizations. That's okay. Hey, I was thinking about you today. I'm going to call you when we get off here. Okay? Not everyone in Africa is on a beg. No, they're not. Aben. London Lady says, I guess if my parents had lived in the U.S., their marriage would have been illegal. Oh, girl, 58? I'm not sure about 58. But yeah, no, it's a story called Mr. and Mrs. The Lovings. And that was a couple who, interracial couple who talked about what their experience was like because it was illegal for a long time. Who was that? Hey, Miss King. Shout out to Negro Land. Just black, heavy. It says just black now. Buried on the beach. Oh my God. I think she is. Okay. Crystal. Because the BBC is a white place that always displays not. Oh, okay. Yeah. Some of that. All right. Now let's get back to the script. So the first thing I want to show you this really short clip, because again, we're not going to assume that people understand Pan-Africanism is and what it is not. So we're here to educate you so you don't have to guess anymore. All right, you're not going to have to guess. I'm not going to give you no long speech about it. This is real short and quick, and it's going to help you understand what we're talking about. All right, so check this out real quick. Oops, let me get back over here. All right. Again, this is fair use.
Pan-Africanism is a worldwide intellectual movement that aims to encourage and strengthen bonds of solidarity between all people of African descent. Based upon a common fate going back to the Atlantic slave trade, the movement extends beyond continental Africans, with a substantial support base among the African diaspora in the Caribbean, Latin America and the United States. It is based on the belief.
So see, that's why those three groups were always involved, because it's targeted towards us. It's about us. It's about those three groups. Because those, after we left Africa, like I was telling you, we became something else. The UK people, the ones who went to the UK became the UK people. The ones who went to the Caribbeans became the Caribbean people. And the ones that went to North America, well, we just change our name whenever we feel the whim to change our name. So they've been the colors, the blacks, the African Americans, the Black Americans. So those are the ones that these Pan-African people are telling. It is your duty, it is your responsibility to go back to unify and to go back to Africa, because that is your home.
Belief that unity is vital to economic, social, and political progress and aims.
And that's it. It's vital to economic, political, and social progress. So you're basically not going to succeed unless we go back to Africa, unite with the Africans who have no interest in uniting with us, who want to go back and unite, form one group, and form a united front against the world. That ain't going to ever happen. But that's what this Pan-African movement is saying to us.
To unify and uplift people of African descent. The ideology asserts that the fate of all African peoples and countries are intertwined. At its core,
so all African people, all African, whoever descend from them, all of our fate is intertwined. It's all connected. So what happens to one Black group will happen to the next Black group. It's going to affect the next Black group. Now, that would be nice if people believed that, and if people would work together to ensure that, nothing would happen to one Black group, that we would stand together. But that's not realistic, because Africans don't look at things in terms as black and white like we do in the diaspora. That's the first big mistake we're making. When you go over there and talk about Black this and Black that, they're looking at you like, what? We're all Black. What are you talking about? They don't care about that. They care about what ethnic group you are. That's all they care about. And if you're a foreigner, they care about how much money you got. That's it. And that's where we failed once again.
Pan-Africanism is a belief that African peoples, both on the continent and in the diaspora, share not merely a common history, but a common destiny. The Organization of African Unity was established in 1963 to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its member states and to promote global relations within the framework of the United Nations. The African Union Commission has its seat in Addis Ababa, and the Pan-African Parliament.
All right, so that's just telling where the everything is. All right, so let me stop that. So as you see, this Pan-African stuff, it tells you, it basically it makes you feel like this is your duty, like this is your job, like this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go back, you're supposed to work on the freedom, and you're supposed to help these people get free. You're supposed to help rebuild the country, everything that they're doing. Has she washed away? I don't even know. Don't know. Look like she would have. Right. Just arrived. Greedy. Okay. Jack. Hey, Jack. Hey, how you been? Marriage between Black and white was only illegal in the southern states. JW says, in my states, whites and Blacks would always marry. My grandmother voted in 1920. Oh, look at that, JJW. That is good. Voted in 1920 when women got to vote. Wow. That's impressive. Wow. Thank you for sharing. So we know that Pan-Africanism is a global movement based on the belief that African people, both on the continent and in the diaspora, share a common history and destiny. All right, that's the belief. At its core, it's about unity. It's the idea that liberation and progress of African people worldwide are interconnected. So it believes everything, we are interconnected, where no matter where you're from, and that we are stronger when we work together, socially, economically, and politically. But when have we worked together in history? Have we ever worked together? All right. So now let's look at this African spirituality. So African spirituality, like how you say, how do you tie that into that? Because the unity, that is the part of African spirituality you have to understand, because y'all don't know what it is. African spirituality really is a beautiful thing. But if you don't hook up with the right person who's teaching you the truth, they're going to use it for bad. All right, just like everything else. So let me show you talk to you about African spirituality. Unlike, let's look at this short. This guy did a really good job at explaining it. Hold on, let me put it on. And he didn't take long. I was like, okay, I don't want no whole long. I don't want no lesson. I want you to tell us real quick what it is. And this guy did a great job. So let me share the video, share the screen so y'all can see this. All right. What is African spirituality? So we can all make sure we know and we don't assume anything.
African spirituality is quite simple but complex, because it will only not combine awareness in terms of your food consumption, your relationships, and dealing with the environment, but it's actually this unity of the human life with all other lives that are around it. Hence, when colonial.
So what did we hear? What was the first thing? Unity. What is Africa? What is Pan-Africanism based on? What is their core thing? Unity.
Colonialism came and they found an African putting his hands on a cow. They're worshiping a cow. They found us, kneeling in front of a tree. Says, no, they're worshiping trees. No, you don't know. We're not worshiping trees. We are talking to the trees. We are aware that we are connected to them. We are connected to them. As such, we constantly are seeking for this connectivity. Hence, it is humanity living in harmony with nature. That is the best definition I can give you for, particularly when I speak about African spirituality. It is a constant awareness. So the African spirituality is quite simple but complex.
Yep.
Because it will only not combine awareness in terms of your food.
Okay, I'm playing it again so we can make sure we get it, okay?
Consumption, your relationships, and dealing with the environment.
The environment, what did we say? What did they say? They said the environment. So that's your duty to go back and clean up the environment.
It's actually this unity of the human life with all other lives that are around it. Hence, when colonialism came and they found an African putting his hands on a cow, they're worshiping a cow.
So that was showing you right there what he was saying right there. He's showing you, he's saying that when the Europeans came, they didn't understand African spirituality. They didn't understand what we were doing. So when they saw them, with their hands on the cow, they felt like they were worshiping the cow. When they saw them kneeling in front of a tree, talking to the tree, they felt like they were worshiping the tree. But no, they were not. They were like being respectful. So he's going to tell you that.
They found us, kneeling in front of a tree. Says, no, they're worshiping trees. No, you don't know. We're not worshiping trees. We are talking to the trees. We are aware that we are connected to them. We are connected to them. As such, we constantly are seeking for this connectivity. Hence, it is humanity living in harmony with nature.
Yeah.
That is the best definition. definition I can give you for, particularly when I speak about African spirituality, it is a constant awareness. So that,
yes, you see how that, wait a minute, hold on, y'all. Let me see. Let me go back over here and take this off. So you see how it's tied to Pan-Africanism, how the spirituality is tied to the Pan-Africanism. All right. So once you become a Pan-African, you're already into this, because you're into the connectedness to the universe. I'm not the universe, but to your culture, to your people. You're into the obligation that you have to your people to serve your people. All right. So these ladies all went there with this on them. This was their call. This was their duty. This was what they were reaching for. And this is what they wanted to do. All right. So now, let me make sure I got this script. All right. Unlike religion, which often relies on dogma and institutions, African spirituality is a way of living. And that's another thing. It's a way of living. All right. It's a way of living. It's a way of being, of living and perceiving the world. It is a belief that there is no separation, listen to y'all, between this physical and the spiritual. All right. And we have no clue what that means. We do not understand when we say there's no separation between the physical and the spiritual, because a lot of us don't even understand what the spiritual is. Okay. So they believe in their ancestors, and that's the belief that those who came before us still guide and protect you. So they believe that your ancestors guide and protect you, to protect the living. Nature is very important. Every part of the earth, water, trees, wind, has a spirit, and everything must be respected. If you notice, they don't like to even kill stuff. Like insects, they won't even kill insects. There's a balance, a focus on communal harmony. Now, you cannot fully understand Pan-Africanism without African spirituality, because African spirituality is the foundation of Pan-Africanism. Do you get that? Do you understand? This whole Pan-African system, culture, is based on African spirituality. Before colonization, spirituality was the glue to African societies. To be Pan-African is to return to your roots, all right? And that's what it means. So now, that's what the Salter sisters were doing, right? So let's go on the update, what I got on them. So I wanted to go back, and I said, okay, now that I understand, I wanted to explain to you guys the thinking of these ladies, and I explained it. I said, let me go back and see what's the update on these ladies. All right, so let me pull this up about the Salter sisters, because some people probably don't even know who they are. Let me share the screen. The Salter sisters, I hadn't even heard of them, all right? Someone had told me about them, and that's when I went to start looking for them. So this was the news article, and believe it or not, this is oh my God, this happened, what, 10 years ago? Almost to the date. Friday will be 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So let's go back and let's talk about them. Let's the update on them. So Jeanette Salters, her name was Jeanette Salters, and she was known in Ghana as Mama Lena. Mama Lena Diop, she was 75. Her sister was Nzinga, and she was 60 years old. And this is a tragic story of two Black African-American expats who were unalived in May of 2015, 11 years ago, over what did I tell you? A land dispute in the Akropong area of the eastern region of Ghana. So let me tell you what happened for those who don't know. The sisters were natives of Detroit who moved to Ghana to reclaim their ancestral roots. All right, I told you, what are they? Pan-Africans. Right there, that tells you they're Pan-Africans. They're following the Pan-African dream, the Pan-African instruction. They legally acquired land from the Ghanaian government, but local individuals disputed their ownership. Before their deaths, Mama Lena Diop had successfully fought the dispute in court and won the legal rights to the land. So she went to court, like we always say, take them to court. She took them to court because she got the land from the government, not the chief, not the locals. This is when the government, I think they took some land and they was giving it to or selling it to foreigners. And this was another Pan-African village, and she got the land, and the locals were upset because they were not even nowhere in on the deal. Following her legal win, the sisters, now some articles, I noticed that the articles are changing, right? It says they went missing, all right? And their bodies were later discovered in a shallow grave only 300 feet from their home. So what happened was they found a blood-stained wooden stick and blood all over the rooms, and the floor was blood all over the room and all over the floors in the room, which suggested that, they had been beaten and unalived. But what the story was is that the Mama Lena was there, and I don't know how they got in. It never said how they got in, but they said they attacked her first and they unalived her first. And then the sister, they waited. They waited for the sister to come home. The sister was at some kind of meeting. She went to some kind of, and they lived in the village now, out in the middle of nowhere. So they waited for the sister to come home, and they beat the sister till she was unalived, and they buried her in the backyard on this house. All right. So shortly after that, in 2015, the Ghana police arrested 2 men in connection with them being unaliving the sisters. While the initial arrests were made years ago, now listen to this, y'all, 2015, 11 years ago. This Friday will be 11 years since this story broke. This month makes 11 years since these sisters were unalived in Ghana, and they caught the people who did it. While the initial arrest, well, I'm not going to say who did it. They caught some people who they suspect who did it. While the initial arrests were made years ago, there have been no high-profile public updates regarding a final conviction or sentencing in recent years as of early 2026. Let me repeat that. While the initial arrests were made years ago, so they arrested somebody in 2015, there has been no high-profile public updates. There's been no updates regarding a final conviction or sentencing in recent years as early as 2026. So do y'all know what that means? That means there has been no update. They arrested somebody. We don't know if the person was convicted. We don't know if the person was sentenced. We don't know if the person pled guilty. There's been no updates for 11 years on this case. The case remains a cited example of the dangers of land guard violence and disputes facing the diaspora in Ghana. I'm like, wow. Then I wanted to know, well, what happened to this house? They went to all of this. What happened to the house? So their home was it's Eastern Ghana in Akropong, Okay, so her son, she has a son, right? So her son noted that they were buried on so they're still buried on that land, y'all, that they're buried on the very land that they were unalived on, just a short distance from their house. So they're still buried. He laid them to rest on that land. The current state of the house. In the years following the tragedy, The property has largely been at the center of an ongoing security concerns for other expats. So what does that mean? Does that mean that other expats have lived in the house and they've had problems? Let me repeat that. It says, in the years following the tragedy, the property has largely been at the center of ongoing security concerns for other expats. So it sounds like other expats have lived in this house and they've had security issues also. There is no official public record of the house being converted or sold through properties though properties involved in such violent disputes often face significant legal red tagging or abandonment due to the stigma of the crime. So this house seems like it is just vacant and it is just there and nobody is in it now. And it has a stigma on it that about what happened to it and that nobody wants to live there now. So this lady her and her sister lost her life over a house, over some land, over a place, and nobody even wants to live there now, not even her son. Yes, I was waiting for you to get to the ladies. I know I was taking a while. Did I take too long? Y'all got to tell me if I'm going too long. So sad what happened to them, Brown Skin says. This is so sad. That one is real, yeah, because they were 75 and 61, 62. You didn't have to do that to them. But they were, and see, before this, okay, the dogs were found unalived. Somebody had poisoned her dogs. She had went to the police. She had been reporting these people that things were happening around her house, and she were constantly reporting them, but nothing was being done about it. Because you got to remember, they call them land guards, but these are people who guard the land. So these were the people who were harassing her. And one time she came home, and do you know the boy? She said it was a young boy, and the young boy was sitting on her couch in her house. And they got in an argument then. And instead of her leaving, of course, she wanted to stay. Kiki, in third world countries, Africa, and in the Caribbean, is it people arrested and jailed for unaliving someone can pay? Yeah, they can. Yeah, they really can. They can pay bribes to get out of jail. So that's what happened to them. And it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad what happened to them. And like I said, until this day, as you see, we just read nothing. 11 years later, what they say, no convictions and no sentencing. So what was the arrest for? Just for show? How can it just be sitting in the courts for 11 years? 11 years, people. It has been in the courts for 11 years. All right, let's get to the next one. So the next update I have is on this lady. We never talked about her. Her name is Naomi. Miss Naomi. Let me share the screen. She is from the United States. She closed this one. Hold on, y'all. Let me share the screen. And she passed away in Ghana. I'm not really sure why I didn't share this story. I think at that time I was just like overwhelmed because I have been reporting on these stories, and to know that another lady had passed away over there, it was just too much for me at that time. So this is Miss Naomi Gilbert, and Naomi has passed away. She passed away in Ghana. And let's listen to her family tell us about her. Okay, y'all, so I have to go through these little commercials on this channel.
if you was around my mom, I know she was helping you out. I know she was looking out for you.
A Spout Springs family is in mourning tonight after their loved one was murdered while serving in Ghana, Africa. In a story you'll only see on ABC 13, Hayden Robertson spoke with the family about the life and legacy of Norma Jean Gilbert.
My little brother had just called me, and he had told me, like, they killed my mom. He was just bawling out crying.
That was the heartbreaking wake-up call the Gilbert family got a couple weeks ago. Jawan Gilbert Eldridge found out his mother, Norma Jean, was killed in Ghana, Africa.
How could you do somebody like that? She was so happy. Every time you talk to her, she said love, like have prosperity.
Norma Jean grew up in Spout Springs in Appomattox County. She had a heart for serving others, and her sister, Barbara Penix, says her heart was in Ghana.
She just wanted to see what it was because she had always wanted to go to Africa. And once she seen what it was like and she fell in love with it, her goal was to get back to Africa.
Norma knew that's where she belonged after a mission in Ghana. She permanently moved there for humanitarian.
See, and that's what he was talking about. Heavy pedal time. That's the African spirituality. It got her. And I remember the first time when I went the first time, I wanted to go back. I could not wait to get back. I could not wait to get back. It's just something about it, and I wish I could put it into words, but it's so hard.
And work in 2021 and changed her name to Naomi Jehudia.
She lives, and it was a village and a whole bunch of little girls. She made sure she brought shoes for every single person that was there, like, and toys.
But the 61-year-old humanitarian's life was tragically cut short, and the family's life was changed forever on April 17th.
Just kept calling her phone the whole night. I was calling her phone, and I went out that night, and she wanted to answer.
Jawan tells me that's when they found out Norma was murdered. Ghana police gave the family a statement saying 2 people, one being her fiance, have been arrested in connection to this crime.
I just believe that they were plotting on her the whole time. You know, they robbed, they bludgeoned her to death, and they buried her behind her home.
And as they cope with their loss, Jawan says his mom's passion and legacy will always live on.
It didn't even say all of that.
Daughter, tell them.
It didn't even say all of that. It didn't even say what she said they did to her. They said they hit her in the head one time. Didn't it say he struck her in the back of the head one time? They didn't say they did. They didn't say that. No, I'm going back to the sister who telling it all.
And they buried her behind her home.
Burned her.
I just believe that they were plotting on her the whole time. You know, they robbed, they bludgeoned her to death, and they buried her behind her home.
And
so they robbed her, they bludgeoned her, and they burned her. Wow. It didn't say that, y'all. This is my first time hearing that. Oh my God.
They cope with their loss. Jawan says his mom's passion and legacy will always live on.
I want to have a daughter. I tell them just anything positive, everything positive about her.
The family is asking for prayers as they're trying to get Norma's body back to the States. They are in contact with the American Embassy to see if they can help, but you can also do your part.
So that is Miss Norma Gilbert. That was heartbreaking because she got sons like I got sons. And sons love their mothers. If you got sons, you know how much sons love their mothers. And they protect their mothers. So when he was saying about how he was going out and he was calling her all night and she didn't answer and he knew something was wrong, man, you could tell in that baby's eyes he was hurt to his heart. That his mom went to Africa and they took his mom from him, from them, like that. So let's get the update on this one. Let's get the update on Naomi. See what's going on over there. See if there's anything they doing Naomi a little bit better than they did the Salter sisters. So they were focused on 2 suspects, right? They arrested shortly after her body was discovered. I hate to say that. This is really sad. This is really sad, y'all. I didn't know they did all that to that lady. I didn't know they did all that to them kids' mama. How could you do that to anybody? Oh, this is the devil. Oh, I should have listened to that video before I came on here. So I can't even talk. There were 2 suspects arrested after the body was after they found Naomi. It wasn't a body, it was Naomi. After they found Naomi in April of 2024. The primary suspect is somebody named Wisdom Seti, a Tongolese national, and Yusuf Affirm, a Ghanaian, who was arrested on April the 19th, 2024 at Assassin Parso. I know I'm destroying these words. Assine Praso. Primary findings from the Ghana Police Service. They say that it indicates that William Sete, who was believed to be Naomi's fiance, allegedly conspired. And what did the sister say? The sister said they were conspiring against my sister. They were setting her up to get everything she got. Naomi's fiance allegedly conspired with Yusuf Affirm to unalive her. What evidence did they have to support this? Authorities retrieved 2 vehicles belonging to Naomi from the suspects at the time of their arrest. So I guess he was in one car and the friend was in the other car. So I guess he told the friend, you help me get rid of her. Because what did Nana tell us? Nana told us in that video about Kenza and Super Shorty. What did he say? He said, if you stick around, if you stay in too long, if you live in too long, they're going to help you make your exit because they're tired of you and they just want your things. And they're going to get them because they've been in a relationship with you. It is not like here. Authorities, so when they found the car, so they took the cars. While the suspects were initially remanded to assist with the investigation, they have been no reports or final sentencing on the conviction as early as 2026. I can't believe that. Let me read that again. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. So the suspect was initially remanded to custody in 2024 to assist with the investigation. Okay. But there's been no public reports of a final sentencing or a conviction since early 2026. So that's the same thing with the Salter sisters, y'all. It's been 11 years. And the Salter sisters, they arrested somebody. But it's been 11 years since there's no sentencing and there's no conviction. This has been since 2024. No sentencing and no conviction. Naomi was a 61-year-old doing humanitarian work in a small village near Cape Coast. She was reportedly bludgeoned till she was unalived and buried in a shallow grave behind her residence. But they didn't say set on fire. They did not say set on fire. Reports from the time of the arrest suggest a misunderstanding regarding a vehicle. Specifically, that Wisdom Sete was angered when Naomi declined to let him use her Toyota Vitesse despite their upcoming marriage. So hold on, wait a minute. So this suspect got upset because Naomi said no You can't use my car. Like I used to tell my kids when they were little, no, you can't use my car. And he got mad and he unalived her. This can't be real. Because I guess since they was getting married, he wasn't supposed to tell her no. Her sons in the United Kingdom, I'm sorry, I said United Kingdom. Her sons in the United States worked with the U.S. Embassy in Ghana and set up a GoFundMe to bring her remains home for burial. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I'm just don't even know what to say about that. Because she said, no, you can't use my car. You can't use my car. So he unalived her. He bludgeoned her till she was unalived. Before he buried her, he burned her. And then he buried her in the backyard. And then they drove off in the cars. Poor Naomi. Nobody warned her about that, huh? Nope. Nobody warned her. Wow. Let me go up here and get your comments about that. The thanks people get for going out of their way and helping so many. I'm sorry, the thanks people get for going out of their way and helping so many. Her heart hurts for that young man. My heart hurts for that young man. Okay, enough. What? Okay, enough way to just claim her. Let's get to the subject matter. Thank you. Well, for one, we don't even know you, so you can't come on here rushing nobody, okay? What effing fiance? Yes, honey. That's what they said, fiance. Yes. What fiance? Some bum. It sounds like he gotta be a bum. He gonna get mad because you said you can't use my car? Are you serious? And we're supposed to be getting married. So what he want? So I don't get it. If you're men who are marriage in age are not interested in running the streets. Okay, they're at home with their wives. This sounds like a young person. They said buried her. Yes, they did. They mentioned fiance. What fiance? Bet it's him. Yeah, that's the one they arrested. The fiance. Yep. Africa has not been victimized. Africa has not been victimized and exploited. No, she played a dirty game. She played a silly game and she got a silly prize. Or shall I say she played a stupid game and she got a stupid prize. But she was playing. She was playing. Don't act like she wasn't playing. She was playing and she got now you want to come on here and make us think she the victim? She ain't the victim, dude. All right, now we're going to go back to Ghana. And do y'all remember this lady? I was really surprised when I saw her on her story was now also on the internet. Because when I did her story, before I did her story and I was trying to find out information about her, I couldn't find anything. I could not find anything about Lisa Ngozi Williams. This is another lady who passed away in Ghana. All right. Lisa is an African-American woman who relocated to Ghana. And she was developing, her story is developing, okay? They said her story is developing, and it is a highly suspicious investigation centered in Tema, Ghana. Her family received news of her passing on May 1st, 2025. So it's been a year now, and has since raised serious allegations of foul play, including potential poisoning. Lisa was reported to be taken to the hospital in Tima in emergency respiratory distress. While doctors initially noted her breathing was improving, she ultimately passed away. Her family observed in videos that her mouth appeared swollen and her face enlarged, leading to concerns she had been poisoned. The fake son and arrest. Immediately following her death, remember we talked about this, the individual, this sounds like the dang old video, don't it? Immediately following her death, the individual attempted to claim Lisa's body and belongings at the hospital, but falsely posing as her son. He reportedly pressed the doctor to release the body for immediate cremation. And then remember, the story switched. And he said the doctor embalmed the body, and the doctor was the one who cremated the body. That's what we have the driver on tape saying. The Tima police chief confirmed that several people were arrested after being caught rifling through Lisa's belongings at her home. The man who posed as her son is also in police custody. Remember that? So he said that he had went over there. I don't know why he went over there to look through her things like that. He went over there wasn't it one of the friends? And it was supposed to be like an American friend, I think, that he went over there and they were looking through her things. And they found some money and they found some more stuff. And but they could never explain why they were over there. Lisa's passport and personal documents were initially missing. Police later reported that the alleged criminals had her purse and her passport. See, we didn't know that either. So that's an update. Nope, we didn't know that either. All right, so they got her purse and they got her passport back. As of late 2025 and early 2026, Lisa's sister, Pauline Robinette, has been working with the U.S. Embassy in Ghana and Consul General in Houston to secure a visa and travel to Ghana. Her family has emphasized that the local autopsy in Ghana is critical. A local autopsy in Ghana is critical to determine the cause of death and prevent potential unalivers from going free. Community advocacy. The case has become a focal point on YouTube channels like Kinganda and Kiki Loves Nigeria, where it is cited as a cautionary tale regarding the safety of solo diaspora women and the risk of financial exploitation. Lisa's family continues to appeal for prayers and financial support through the GoFundMe and campaign to cover a significant cost of the autopsy, legal fees, and the eventual transport of her remains back to the U.S. Now, this is a really sad case because if this lady is still, her remains are still there, this is really bad. And according to this update, her remains are still there as of today, 2026. Her sister is still trying to get this money together. Again, it has stopped at $575. I don't know what happened, why people are not giving to this. This doesn't make sense. You know, she says it's 19,000 is the goal, almost 20,000, but there's only $575. This was a year ago. This was May 1st. That's something, y'all. The Salter sisters was in May. What's her name? Naomi. Was Naomi in May or April? It was around May. And this lady is in May. So what's going on in May? I know there's a spring solstice. So I wonder, what do the Africans have that's comparable to that spring solstice? Because this is too much of a coincidence. So this was a year ago also in May. She passed on May 1st, 2025. And like I said, I don't know, something is up because nobody is giving to this. All right, so let me go back and get y'all comments. Ola, Olo, I don't know what that name is. Olo was. What does that have to do with Naomi and the other American people? Behave yourself here, please. Oh, honey, you about to get blocked, dude. This channel is about teaching women and others about moving to Africa. Oh, they're about to block you. You better calm down. They're going to make you sit outside for a minute. If her fiance unalived her, I am sure the relationship was abusive. Oh, so you think there was more signs of abuse before that just happened? So it's been abusive. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. It probably was. We don't know, but we're just guessing. April and May is the quiet season. No money. Oh, so they desperate. Wasn't there some rumor about the fiance lying about something? Lying about what? TNK? What you think they were lying? What was the rumor and what was they lying about? All right, so that was Lisa Ngozi Williams. Again, the victory that we scored here as a community is that this is showing that our efforts are being recognized. What we're doing, our stories are getting out there. Okay, and because when I talked about Lisa, there was nothing, and y'all know it. There was nothing on the internet about her story. I couldn't find squat diddly. Now let's go to the Gambia. But some of them I did find some on, what is that? No, these were Ghana. No, Ghana. No, none of them. These were the Gambian people. I did find some information on What's Up Gambia for them. But Ghana, no, I don't think there's any website I was getting information from. All right, so that's Lisa. Thank God that her story is out there, that people are aware, that it is on social media now, and it's getting out and it's spreading. And that's what we want. We want to bring awareness to these issues. The next one we're going to talk about, we are now going back to the Gambia. And let me show you talk about where we're going in the Gambia. We're talking about a lady named Shakina Shinadu. All right, let me pull this up here. Again, Shakina's story was a big story in the Gambia. It didn't start off that way. It started off with somebody calling me and saying, "Did you know Shakina was missing?" And I'm like, "What?" It might have been Kwesi, actually. And I'm like, Shakina, is that the lady isn't that the lady we went to go see when we were there? Because Kwesi took me to meet her. So I was like, what do you mean she's missing? And it was like Valentine's Day, I think around Valentine's Day. And they were like, she's missing. That she's been missing for 2 days. And I'm like, where? So I started trying to find out what I could find out. I think I did a little story about her missing. So, but Shakina's story was another story that ended in tragedy. So let me play this clip. Where is it at?
It's not, overall, I think it's very peaceful, and I think, it's an opportunity, even the sisters that are single, I wouldn't say, hey, don't come over, but when you come over, implement some type of buddy system. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Adopt a family or something like that. Just don't be on your own or just be by yourself and, get into the whole idea of like dating and having different men, because we've even seen some of these repats, they're going out, they deal with these guys, then the guy breaks into their house, then it's all dramatic, and then they want to, blame everybody but themselves.
Exactly. And that's so unfortunate.
So I want to start with this. I want to show you this. This was on Batu News Network. This is what we saw last night. This is when they announced the arrest. It says the suspect in the murder of Shakina Shinadu, a woman whose body was found in an incomplete compound after she was reported missing, has been arrested. Police say the suspect, who is between 20 and 30 years old, is cooperating as investigation continues. Okay. So this is what we received last night. This sounds, and then someone came on and said, let me go show you this one. After that, someone came on and said that they believed that this was not exactly the truth. You know, it might have been some of what happened, but there was more to it. Let me read you this one. So it says, okay, let me go. Apparently, they have a low entity who is supposedly Nigerian. He's living in the Gambia. The Gambians live under the delusion, and they act like they aren't on this type of debauchery. Robbing her from 1,000 pounds. This sounds like scapegoating, because Shakina would not have seen this coming and definitely would have defended herself. She was set up, and this dude sounds like a fall guy. I'm telling my sister to get out of there ASAP.
If you're starting to notice your skin losing its glow, here are 5 reasons not to.
Right. So this lady, she feels like this workman dude, that this is just an excuse, just the fall guy, basically just a scapegoat, just somebody so they can arrest somebody. This would be the end of it. And then that's, just to close the case real quick, pretty much. So tell us what you think about that. What's your opinion about that?
Well, like I said, we have to wait until more evidence and facts come out of the situation. Like I said, her being down there at her property, it would the murder would have to have opportunity. So, like I said, it sounds more like a dispute with someone, as opposed to, that means someone would have to get inside her personal network. Like if it's coming from outside, and it's coming from, someone being dissatisfied with her and wanting to set her up, it would have taken a lot of energy for them to get in her network and then kind of plan out where she was. I think it was it was just a crime of, of the moment where, she, this guy who she was working for. And it's always the people, man, that's closest to you. Like, I know in The Usual Suspects, that movie, they told, one of the detectives said, it's never a stranger. It's always the boyfriend or the girlfriend, or someone that's close to the person that killed them. It's never like a random person that just walked up off the street. Someone that you living with.
Now, let me tell you, in reference to women, that is 100% factual and actual. Women are mainly mostly killed most of the time when there is a woman that is unalive. She is unalive by someone she once loved. Okay, either she loves or she has once loved. So he's exactly right. So I'm not going to play all that, but if you want to go back and watch that was a really interesting video. Quasi gave his perspective because he was close to Shakina and he was really hurt about that. So let's go up here and see what they're saying about Shakina. So Shakina was a 60-year-old British national who was tragically killed, unalived, in the Gambia in February 2024. I told you Valentine's Day. On February 14, 2024, Shakina was unalived at her home in the Sinchang village. That's what Sinchang village, West Coast region. Evidence presented in the court showed that she was struck at the back of her neck with a hammer. And it wasn't no hammer, y'all. It wasn't no hammer. It was a sledgehammer. You know those sledgehammers That's what it was. It wasn't no regular hammer. Her body was found dumped in an incomplete suckaway, a septic tank. So after he hit, look at the awful way they deal with their body. That's how you know they hated these ladies. They hated the Salter sisters. They hated Miss Naomi. They hated this lady. They couldn't stand her. They put her in a suckaway, an unfinished septic tank on her property. Following the murder, her belongings were stolen, including $80,000 in cash, laptops, a tablet, cameras, and mobile phones. The Gambian police arrested Augustine Bangora, a Sierra Leonean national, in connection with the crime. During the investigation, Bangora reportedly led the police to the location where he had hidden or sold the stolen items. The hammer used in the crime and the keys to the victim's house was recovered from his residence. So they found all this stuff at his house, and they found the weapon there, they found the money there, they found everything there. The court ruling. The trial took place in Banjul High Court, presided over by Justice Ibram Jatif. I know I'm saying the name's terrible. The prosecution presented 12 witnesses and 21 exhibits, including forensic photos and the unaliving weapon. On May the 12th, 2025, the court found Augustine Bangora guilty of unaliving Shekinah and theft. He was sentenced to death for the unaliving of Shekinah Shenadu. He also received an additional 15 years for the theft of her possessions. Now, her daughters publicly stated that while they wanted justice, they would have preferred life imprisonment over the death penalty for the convict. This case has been cited as a major concern for the safety of the diaspora community in that region. Let me see y'all comments. Yeah, that was messed up about Shekinah. That was messed up. And I believe Kwesi told me he either called her over there because it was late at night and she had left the birthday party because they were trying to figure out how he knew she had money on her. She had $1,000, I think, no, 1,000 pounds or something on her. And they were trying to figure out how they knew she had this. He knew she had this money on her. And what Kwesi said was she had either it was Kwesi or it was an article, and they said she had a birthday party. And he knew about this birthday party, and he told her that there was some kind of leak or there was some kind of problem over there that night. That's why she went over there at night. Because first they were trying to say there was some kind of romance, and he was like, no, there was no romance between them two. So, but how could, like Kwesi was saying, how could he get her over there at night like that? So she said, I believe it was said that he told her something was wrong at the house. She came over there, and that's when he unalived her. London Lady says people get laid off of work as less tourists visit April through October. I must be mixed up with which woman we covered. I must be mixed up about which women we covered several. Yeah, we did. We covered a whole. It sounds like you know who you're talking about. What you said? Which one you think you mixed up about? Usually around April or May, my sons start to get calls from the various Gambians he met when we were there. It's funny. He always knows why, but never sends money. Just offer words of encouragement instead. Yep. When you reported this, it was already a year old. I think that someone may feel there is not much that can be done after a year. Yeah, because that's what they were saying. a caring touch when I was reporting it. That's exactly what you're talking about, Lisa. That's what they were saying. They were like, well, this is a year old. And I knew, you know, when because people will question that. That is the first thing. People are like, well, look, what can you do now? You can't really do any autopsy. This is a year old. And then people were saying, is she still in the cremation? Is she still at the morgue? And then we find out that the driver says the lady was cremated. So it was a lot of questions, and people were concerned about inconsistencies. Why are intelligent women searching out abusive African men? Well, I don't think they search out abusive African men. I think they don't realize they're abusive until they get in their relationship with them. So nobody with JW, nobody would search out an abusive relationship. Remember, the police showed, I take that back. That's a lie. Some people will. Remember, the police showed the brand new hammer made a big deal, but now zero information. Yep. JW totally baffles me. Are we missing something? I don't think so, London Lady says. Oh, my bad. I didn't know he was sentenced. Yep, he got sentenced to life. So thank God. 100,000 Dalasi. He did that for 100,000 Dalasi. But thank God he got sentenced. That's a win. Remember, so far we had no wins. Well, we did have the social media. The information is getting out on social media. But other than that, we really didn't have many wins. All right, now let's check out this one. Now, let me go up here and tell you who we're talking about now. So everybody knows about Anja Africa. Anja was probably one of the people that I worked on the longest. Like, I was waking up doing videos about her. I was going to bed doing videos about her. I was waking up in the middle of the night checking my phone for information about her, because the information would be coming in all hours of the night. Like, all hours of the night, I would just be getting all kind of information about what was going on. And when I finally found out she passed away, it was in the middle of the night. So let's look at this one. So Anja, I just now realized, again, investigating this story, that Anja actually talked about Audrey. Audrey is one of the women that passed away on our channel. And it seems like after, because Anja wasn't saying a word before, because me and her would have words, okay? Well, I wouldn't say words. She would just say her little smart remark, and that would be it, but she was just, she didn't say much about what was going on in the community until after things started affecting her. Then she started talking about what was going on. And I was kind of upset about that, because I felt like, well, if you guys were really concerned about what was going on in the community, you would have said it when it was affecting other people. You wouldn't want to just, I'm going to speak out now because it's affecting me. So she spoke out on this video, and this was after, again, I was the only one doing these videos at that time. So for her to come out and confirm what I was saying was true, and me and her did not get along, that was really, that spoke volumes, because that showed that I was not lying, and what was going on in Gambia was really real. All right, so let me put this down so I can see this summary. So let's listen to what she says about Audrey.
Davids. So all I hear is, and it may not be as safe. And we have to know when we get on ground to have communities and networks and people we are connected to, whether we are here or we are abroad. You cannot move alone. That whole thing is a Western concept. You don't need nobody. Be independent. When you do that, that's the easiest way for somebody to get to you and take you out.
Yeah.
And it has happened here. There was one sister here I didn't even know her, but in a way I did, because it seemed like every place I had ever been and did a video, this sister was doing videos the same way. So we was like really had a lot in common, but I didn't know her. Her name was Audrey Davis. So all I hear is this sister's supposed to be getting married in 1 week. All of a sudden, the sister turns up dead. She's 54 years old. How? From what I heard, she didn't have any health problems, computer equipment. She's buying land and chickens. Her name was Audrey Davis. And I believe the channel she had was Soul Star Healing, something like that. When I post the details, I will make sure I put it because I want y'all to check her out. So here's what happened. I heard this sister passed away because someone called me, said, Andrea, do you know this sister? I said, I don't know her. They said, oh, we thought you knew her because y'all was sitting a few seats from each other at this event. I said, no, it was so crowded. I didn't even look to see who was there.
And look, both of them have passed away. Both of them are gone now.
Okay. So I heard this sister pass. So every time I saw one of her videos come up in my feed, I would just share it because I didn't know her, but I felt like out of respect to her, I would do that. So I shared her videos. So one night I'm sleeping and I just get this urge to jump up and go to the bathroom. Like I can't hold it, like out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was about. I didn't even drink before I went to bed, but I jumped up, I went to the bathroom. And when I was coming back from the bathroom, I kept rubbing my chest. Like I had a pain in my chest. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. Maybe it's something I ate. So I laid back down. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm up. One of the sisters from the Gambia calls and she says, Andrea, you up? I said, yeah. She said, oh, because your video just came through. I said, what video? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Now she's in Gambia. She said, the video you did on the sister Audrey. I said, I sent that video 12 hours ago. Why is it coming up now? The sister says, well, let me tell you, my daughter works with her best friend. I'm like, okay, it's not a coincidence that we on the phone at 4 o'clock in the morning and somebody wants us to talk. So the two of us start talking and I say, we got to do something for the sister. She's like, I want to do something. So she says she's going to take the responsibility of organizing a memorial. I said, when you get everything organized, I will post it on all my channels. I'll do the best I can to help. Okay. So now the sister called me back and she mad. And I said, what's the matter? She said, these people here don't care. I said, what do you mean they don't care? She said, I'm trying to tell people that this sister died and people are acting like I didn't know her. Oh, what you want me to do? But then a sister's dog dies and everybody's sending this sister condolences about her dog. Oh, your poor dog.
Y'all remember that? The dog Jamaica? Remember that? With I'll call them One Nation Under a Groove. I can't remember the name. One Nation Under Black or something like that. Remember that when the security guard killed her dog? Remember that? And then the Audrey lady. Remember y'all don't remember her because she was like a it's hard to describe what kind of it was more like a spiritual channel. Not a spiritual channel, but I don't know, y'all. I can't describe the channel. But she's right. And that's what people were saying, that they weren't concerned about it. And that's probably why it went on for so long, because people were not concerned about it. So this is Audrey. I mean, this isn't Audrey. This is Anja. Let's listen to what she says about being stalked.
Normal. It only hit me today because I was like, I have a stalker. I have a stalker and I haven't told anyone. And it's not healthy. So let me just tell y'all what's going on. Okay, so I was seeing someone and I thought us meeting was like, a spiritual thing. The bond, like we connected, we have good conversation, but there was something about this individual, but I could not put my finger on what it was. But, I figured you're getting to know, take it keep him at a distance, but get to know him. So the more I get to know him, my spiritual abilities are coming in at the same time. So now I'm starting to have divinations. And when I tell you what I saw, y'all gonna be like, I saw this individual dealing with same-sex orgies. I saw this individual in different relationships. I saw a lot of children around. And I mean, everything I'm seeing is nude. Okay. So now I'm thinking, hold up. This individual's in a cult. This is not I'm just a normal person. This is a foot soldier for the devil, a demon. We don't know what that looks like because they come well dressed. Honey, they got on the best outfit. They nice looking. They smooth talking. That ain't nothing but a demon. If it's not good, it's not God. And I just keep that in my mind.
So this is Audrey. And this is when she's talking about her stalker. All right. So she gave us a lot. I mean, she would come on YouTube, and she had another channel. I can't remember her channel, the other channel right now. But she was saying some crazy, like, let me see if I can find that channel. Y'all, the stuff she was saying was wild. She was accusing people of things that you should never accuse people of, okay? Even if for a fact these people done this, and you should not be on YouTube saying these things. I was trying to find her subscribers, but I can't find them. Who she subscribed to. I was hoping that her other channel would pop up, but she has another channel. And on that other channel, that's when you see her spiritual stuff and you see how wild it is. And she was into this African spirituality. Aja went to go work for a doctor who was a traditional healer in the Gambia. She was upset about the way he was doing business, okay? She said he would have women come over there, and the women, he would be alone with them in the dressing room. She didn't like that, and she felt like that was inappropriate. So she started having talks with him about this behavior, okay? Well, he got upset with her because I believe she told somebody, see, like this post right here, I'm gonna show y'all. Like, she told somebody, see all these posts. This is when I thought something was really going on with her. She was telling, this was this was it, y'all. Few talk when many are experienced. This is when she was like, she was telling people don't go to this doctor. And he was a big traditional doctor there, right? He was making lots of money. And he was making lots of money there. And she was telling people don't go to him because he was flirting with his customers pretty much. Well, this man was furious with her. So after that, we hear that this man has it out to get her, okay, because she's messing up his business and she's messing up his name. So this is and I had documented proof, and it's in the videos. You just need to go watch the videos where this doctor, and I don't know if they didn't say the doctor, but they said people were on the street. Aja was walking down the street and they collected her. That was the words they used. They collected her. And I asked my husband, what does that mean? They collected her. He said, that means that they collected her. They went up to her and they took her. He said, who are you asking me? Why you want to know that? Who got collected? So I'm telling him what happened, and I'm describing Aja's situation. And I'm saying, would they collect her for something like that? He said, yes, especially if especially if it was a powerful traditional doctor. He'll have people working for him. And all he has to say is that she's one of his patients. She's suffering from some type of mental illness. She's delusional right now. So supposedly he collected her. Supposedly, we don't know where he kept her. He just kept her somewhere. And when she finally was released from this man, this is the rumor. I don't have any proof of this. I just have people saying this, that after he was released from her, that's when Anja was paralyzed from the neck, from that man. She was paralyzed from the neck down. She could not move. She could not eat. She could not drink. And supposedly these people were feeding her, and she was in all different types of hospitals. But we don't know how true it is because we never saw any We didn't see Anja at all. They kept telling us she was fine. They kept telling us she's with her friends, she's with her cousins, she's with this, she's with that. But then when I would say, they would tell me to stop doing the videos and stop talking about it. And I would say, well, show me a video of her. Tell her to say, Kiki, I'm okay. Stop talking about me. Tell her to say, put her on a video, put her on camera and have her say, Kiki, leave me alone. Stop making videos. And then I'll stop. But they never would do that. They never would do that. And that's when I knew something was wrong, because Anja Africa would have came on screen, and if she was fine, she would have came and said, look, stop making the videos. I'm fine. But when she never came on screen and they kept demanding I stop making the videos, I knew she wasn't fine. And I knew something was badly wrong with her. And I knew they had spent some type of money and they were trying to recoup the money they spent on her. And that's what the $175,000 was about. Because come to find out, one of the repats there supposedly had a rehab business, a rehabilitation service business. And she was doing the rehabilitation for Anja. And I guess she was charging Anja, and she wanted her money. So the GoFundMe was supposed to pay her for taking care of Anja. But what we wanted to know is if she was completely paralyzed, then who's turning her? Who's making sure she don't have bed sores? Who's doing her bowel program? Because people who are completely paralyzed, they can't have bowel movements. They have to have a catheter. Does she have a catheter? None of that was spoken. None of those questions were ever answered. But we were supposed to give these people $175,000. And then all of a sudden, when we reported them to GoFundMe, I said, if you don't send me the pictures or show me something, we're going to report you to go. Oh, no, I didn't tell them we were going to report them. One of the subscribers, a community member wrote me and said they didn't believe what they was saying, and they reported to GoFundMe, and they sent the receipt to prove that they reported it. And that's when I said, oh, you can report it? So I reported it also. And right after that night, I got a call early in the morning. No, I got a message early in the morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning, and it said that Anja had passed away that night. And I'm like, oh, really? She passed away the night that I reported them to GoFundMe, the night that they were going to have to produce their evidence, and she passed away that night. Really? Yeah, that's what happened to Anja Africa. Terrible, terrible. And so, see, this is when she was having, I would say it was some type of breakdown, y'all. So this is what she says. Listen to this. And these are her family members. She says, participants in a demonic first newborn rituals for wealth. Firstborn rituals equals spiritual. Oh, no, I'm not reading this. Oh, no, I'm not reading this. If y'all want to see what this say, y'all go on her channel. But Anja was having some type of break from reality. She was having some type of break from reality, and it was not good. See, look at this. I'm not reading none of this, and that baby is right there. I don't even know why YouTube would allow that to still be up here. Okay, so let's see what happened with her. I think that's all the videos. She's got, okay, sisters need protection everywhere we go. All right, let me look at this and see what y'all say. So they said after Anja, in a high-profile investigation within the African diaspora community, she was an American content creator who relocated to the Gambia and became widely known as the fifth woman from the diaspora to pass away under suspicious circumstances in a short time frame. But I want to make sure I'm telling you the whole story. All right, so Anja Africa was found deceased on early February 2024, specifically around the 9th of February. In the weeks leading up to her death, she had posted content on social media expressing concern that she was being stalked. That's the video we just played. While official reports are often sparse, some family members and community activists have publicly alleged that she may have been poisoned. Her death sparked a wave of skepticism because it followed the suspicious passing of other diaspora women, including Audrey Davis. Remember, she told us about Audrey Davis. The case of Anja Africa has become a major focal point for activists demanding better safety measures for single diaspora women in West Africa. Social media advocacy platforms like Africa Diaspora Network, look, here I am again, and Kiki Loves Nigeria have heavily covered her case to raise awareness about the risk and financial exploitation of the land guard issues. A call to action, such as groups as the Council for American Descendants, member code, the Gambian repats got together, I showed y'all that video, have officially called on the Gambian government to enhance law enforcement and security to protect the growing expat community. The mysterious five identity. Activists frequently list her alongside other victims like Veronica Hillstead, Mary Gaskin, and Shakina Shinadu. All of these women stories are on my channel. Who's unalived by an intruder who's eventually solved to highlight what they perceive as a pattern of targeted violence. Shakina was the only one that was solved. Mary Gaskin was the lady with the hairdresser lady, remember, who passed away. So the current situation on Anja, as of May 2026, there has been no high-profile public reports or arrests or confirmed homicide conviction directly linked to Anja Africa's death. Her case remains a central topic in the Quest for Justice movement, which advocates for independent autopsies and greater transparency in local investigations. We talked about Audrey Davis. That's who Anja was talking about. All right, Audrey Davis was another prominent case when linked to Anja Africa. It is that of Audrey Davis, an African-American woman who mysteriously passed away in the Gambia in 2022. Wow. Audrey had relocated to the Gambia with the intention of making her permanent home and had already purchased land. Audrey's dad had passed away. She was taking care of her dad, okay? And the dad passed away. And if you all have ever been a caregiver for your parent, and when they pass away, that is devastating. You feel lost. You feel like your purpose is gone because your purpose was to take care of them. So after he passed away, Audrey goes to Gambia, all right? She goes to Gambia, she builds her a home there, and she purchases land there. She reportedly is only 1 week away from getting married when she unexpectedly dies. Now, because she dies and she's unexpectedly died, you know who's going to get all of her property and all her inheritance? The man that she was supposed to marry. And I think they were married like traditionally, and they were going to get a legal marriage. Family and friends stated she had no known health problems. If you go to the videos, you'll see in my video in the comment section, her family comes on there and says, because they're trying to say she had an asthma attack, she had this, she had that. Family comes on there and clearly says, no, she has no known health issues. Like others in this list of 5, her passing raised alarms because it coincided with her navigating local land, and it coincided with her navigating local land and the marriage system. Because guess what? Since she was going to marry him, guess who gets all of her belongings? He does. I just told you. Yep. All right. Let's stop that one. Let me see what y'all got to say. Fiona! Hi, Fiona. These men are full of charm until you get what they set out for, TNK says. She was British. Did the UK Home Office get involved? After all, it was a British colony. London lady says, what happened to that young woman that was getting evicted? She came on your show. Who? Which one was it? Wonder what happened, what became of Anja Africa body. They never let us know. Honey, she was buried on the beach. I remember when Kiki laid Sister International out because they kept asking for money, but could not happen. But we couldn't know what happened to her. Exactly. That was crazy. These ladies are runaways, fight or flight. Nothing they say or do in Africa makes sense, JW says. Hey, Rosie, how you doing? Texas Hold'em says, I can't wait to leave here to tell. Ooh, make sure you tell me. I can't wait to leave here to go to do a tell-all. Honey, make sure you tell me. Come on here and do the tell-all. Because I want to know. Get to know total strangers in this country and you don't speak. How do you get to, exactly, JW? Anja believed everything was mystical or spiritual. Yeah, that was part of it. And you know what, Kiki? They don't even have any videos on YouTube anymore. Who don't? I used to listen to Anja Africa before I started listening to your show, Kiki. But did she sound crazy to you? Honey, she didn't at first, but then she just started sounding like nutso. Hey, Fiona. How you doing, Fiona? Then she started sounding cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. Sounds like Kenza buying land and chickens and goats. The young Ghana man, like Kenza say, is living. Yeah, her Ghana man. Remember that? My Ghana man. Remember that? I couldn't believe her. Is living his best life. He sure is. Courtesy of Kenza. Old woman calling herself a babe. Ain't that crazy? Kenza, oh my God. Kenza is so embarrassing. She is embarrassing. I feel sorry for the Virgin Island people. If that's your claim to fame, is Kenza babe. It's Kenza babe. And I'm supporting a 20-year-old dude, and I'm making his life come true. Everything he wanted in his life come true. Well, I'm breaking down day by day. Kenza babe. Do y'all know she named that goat, that black goat, after Althea? And she said it. She said, the black goat is your name, Althea. She's named after you. Single woman should not be moving there, especially with those with no money. I have no interest in visiting Ghana or the Gambia. Don't forget autopsies is different there too. Exactly. It ain't no full autopsy. It's just ask you some questions. Sisters International don't have videos on YouTube anymore. Oh, they don't? Why not? Please hit the like button if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 people. Please help us get to 5,000. Spirituality is everywhere, but nothing is beating a good old common sense. You are so right. All right, now I want to show y'all some videos of our last person we're going to talk about tonight. Hold on. This was one of my favorite people. I was really hurt when she passed away. I was really hurt. I really liked her. I really liked her as a person. All right. Y'all know who this is. This is the warrior of the Gambia. This is Veronica Hillstead. All right, let's go.
Discount center here in Pajada. I'm near Atlantic Avenue here. Power's been out for a long time. I've talked to this company multiple times. I've asked them if they had generators. Their food is thawing out, and they're freezing it again and thawing out and freezing it again. And it's really sad, you guys. They refuse to get the generators or they're not being fixed. They told me they had them. However, that's not what's happening, you guys. Do not buy any frozen foods here. No frozen foods here. You guys cannot buy any frozen foods here. They're killing us and they know it. And this is not right. This has got to change. This has got to change. Somebody else was here in the store, was looking at the meat and said, sir, you guys can't sell this. This is another man that was here, said the same damn thing. You can't sell food that's been thawed out. You guys here, I'm at the discount center here in Pajada. I'm near Atlantic Avenue here.
Okay, hold on. Now let me show you another one she's done. Now that's her mission. That's what she's over there doing. Standing in front of their stores, talking about them like, ooh, honey, I don't even know how she talk. Like they less than a child of God. That's what she talking about them. So hold on. And this is Veronica. This is what she felt like her mission was to do there. Okay. Let's see. Where's the other one? No, that's her. All right. Oh, let me just go over here. I forgot. It's on my notes. Let me go get it real quick. So check this one out. This is another one. Check out this one. Hold on. I'm about to share it with you. And remember, she's going around the Gambia doing this. She's not just doing this at one place. She's going around the Gambia doing this. So hold on. Let me get that up here so y'all can see this one. All right. 1 second.
And all these products here expired June 2021. So this is coming off the shelf today. They can no longer sell this. They can only give this away, period, or give it to the animals. Sorry, no more expired foods for our people. We are Africans, and we don't do trash. I'm in a different supermarket, and all these products here.
Go play it again because I want you to see what she did.
June 2021. So this is coming off the shelf today. They can no longer sell this. They can only give this away, period, or give it to the animals. Sorry,
now remember,
no more expired foods for our people.
She has no authority to do this. She doesn't work for the Gambian government. The Gambian government are not supporting her, not behind this. She decided she's going to go around and do this on her own. Now check this one out, y'all. This is the one where me and her was just like, I couldn't even believe it. I could not believe it. This is how I met Veronica. Stop sharing that one. This one was just, when she did this, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe what I was watching. All right, now check this one out. Let me get over here. This one was wild.
I'm from Gambia. I was in the store a few days ago. Come on in. So I was in the store a few days ago, and what I found out is the frozen food is a no. And so what I'm appealing to the business owner, honey, I need you to call the business owner that owns the store and let them know that somebody's in the store. That's important.
You telling her to call the business owner and tell him to come to the store.
Follow me, please. So what's very necessary, if you own a business here in the Gambia, you have to have a generator if you are selling frozen foods. The powers go out here in the Gambia. And if you don't have a generator, the food goes bad. And look at that. They cleaned it up, Alu. Oh, there it is. This right here, you guys, this is a no. to the owners.
Every time I see this,
You
I
don't
just
sell
start
this shit to our
laughing.
people.
Look at
These
this.
freezers here in the Gambia, the power goes out very often. And if businesses don't have a generator, that means that this food is thawed out, frozen, thawed out, frozen, thawed out, frozen, and that kills us. This is a no. Every business owner in the Gambia that has a store, a supermarket, sponsors. If you're sponsoring people with stores here in the Gambia, fantastic. But if you're going to be selling frozen food, refrigerated food, you have to have a generator. That when the power goes out, the food stays fresh. If you're selling food here in the Gambia that's expired,
can you believe she threw this
and it's
man's chickens on the counter? Y'all, you know, if you can't even do that here. You can't even do that here. And our laws are pretty, you know, like they give you a little break, but you can't express yourself like that here. You can't even express yourself like that here.
From another country, that's a no. You don't sell our people expired food. That's commodity food. That's free food. For you business owners that are buying food from these containers, you make sure that the food is not almost expired, because if it's expired or almost expired, you can't sell it. That means you lost your money. Demand more from the people that you're buying from. Don't let them send us their junk. Don't let other countries send our African people their shit. And I'm coming to every store in the Gambia, every supermarket, every neighborhood. And you guys need to make sure that these foods are not commodity foods. This food is not expired. This food is good. This right here for the owners of this company. I can't even get this out. Look at this, y'all. This is crazy. You can't even get it out because it's been thawed out and frozen, thawed out and frozen. And this is a hell no. Whoever the owner is of this particular store, supermarket, before I go live and say the name of it and your location, you need to handle this. Do not sell this to our people.
And do you know she was doing that?
Get this chicken out of here and throw it away.
Yeah, I know she was doing that. Like the stores she's naming, those are popular stores in the Gambia. I'm going to show y'all. And those are the stores we go to. And do you know this last time when I went, I pay attention to them stores. I'm like, oh, this is the store that was on her list. Let me pay attention to that. So yeah, this what she was doing. She was hurting pockets. She was hitting pockets. She was hitting them in their pockets. No, they were not going to let her get away with this. And you think the Gambian government was going to stop anybody from stopping her? No, they were not.
Or you give it to the animals. Are y'all kidding me? Are y'all freaking kidding me? This is a no. This is what kills us, you guys. This is where disease come from. This is what disease come from other countries. You know how many times this was thawed out and frozen again before it even got here to the Gambia? This is a no. This is a warning. Last time, we're coming after you.
See, this was crazy. This is, oh Lord, let me let y'all listen to this. Let's let y'all listen to this. This is what got Veronica hurt. And instead of the diaspora people telling her to stop, Sisters International was encouraging her. They were encouraging her to continue.
You down, and I'm not talking about the government, the people. The people. We're not talking about the government, the people. We're showing up, and you're not selling us this shit anymore. We are Africans. Cut. So these are only the chickens I can take out. You guys can't sell this. I am with Lift Gambia at gmail.com. And I'm on Instagram, Lift Gambia. Lift Gambia, Instagram. Changes come, you guys. We ain't doing what we did before. Before 2020, all that shit that's been going on, y'all we ain't doing no more. We are Africans. We're not going to allow people just to treat us any kind of way. I don't care if this is African Gambia chicken. Package it, do it right. This is freezer burn. This is no good. This should be trashed, period. Don't sell this to our people. I'm Veronica, and I'm from Gambia. I was in the store a few days ago.
I want to show you how she went to these other stores. Okay, let me do that real quick, and then it'll be time for us to go because it's late. But this is what Veronica was doing. Her name is Veronica Hillstead. Her channel is very interesting. So, like, when you have time, like, just go through her channel. This is her channel. Can y'all see that? Did it switch? Yeah, okay. This is her channel, and just go through it. Like, she's got some really interesting things on here. So I showed y'all that one when she was, at that grocery store. And then there was another one where she went to another. Okay, that was when she was talking about the thawed out and frozen food. And she would just go around to different grocery stores. That was the expired food, and she just felt like this was her mission. And like, instead of people telling her, you shouldn't go up against these big grocery stores, these people are making a lot of money here. And they're like, bringing a lot of money to this country. It's not a good idea for you to go up against them. But nobody told her that. And Veronica was just putting herself in one bad situation after the other. Again, like I told you, she was being encouraged by Sisters International. So after that, she decided, I'm going to start selling my own meat. And you know who go to these grocery stores? We do. Okay. So she's selling her own meat. Who do you think we're going to start going to? We're going to start going to her, not to those maroons like DeVoe was saying. We're not going to them grocery stores anymore. We're going to her to get fresh chicken, fresh ground chicken, and she's selling it out of her house, right? So she's got signs all over the neighborhood that she's selling chickens now, not chickens, but fresh chicken meat and fresh chickens, and you can get them from her. Well, people, of course, they're going to buy them from her. You think these grocery store people liked that? No, they did not. I know they did not. Who would? You've taken all the customers. You destroyed our business. I'm not going to say she destroyed it, but you put negative information out about our business. And now you've started a business where you're taking our customers pretty much and directing them. The signs were directing them to her house. All right. So her house got broken into. The house was broken into. Okay. And, Dad, I wish I had that video up here. Let me go through my one channel and see if I can find it real quick, the post while we were talking. So, her house had got broken into the first time. Her house got broken into, right? She tells Sisters International her house got broken into. So then, she was saying that on the tape, she sounds really, really scared. Okay. So she's telling them about this dream she had about this man who came into her house and blah, 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 blah. So after the man breaks into her house, guess what happened after that? She's found unalived. Well, I'm not going to say unalive. She's found unresponsive in her house. She's found, and they don't know how. Now, they don't know what happened to her now. Okay? They don't know what happened to her. They just know her door is open. Okay, I'm trying to find it. They just know her door is open, and they know things are not the way they used to be. Like that, it looks like somebody has broken into the house. Okay. So I'm trying to see. I got so much stuff on here, y'all. If I still got that video, that was years ago, of her going through, like showing us the video of her walking through the house after the morning after she wakes up and these people have broken into her house. And she was scared because she said she slept through the whole thing. And that was scary to her because she didn't even wake up. So not too long after that, she was found unalive. And again, Now, this was not public. This was not out in the open. This was in a, what is that? A What's Up group, okay? This was in a What's Up group that, I'm still looking for it. This was in a What's Up group about the break-in. Oh, God, I just seen that picture of Kenza with no bra on. Ooh, that is just disgusting. So the person the person broke into the house again, allegedly, and she was unalived. But they said she had an asthma attack. You know what they say. You know how that goes. Yep. They said she had an asthma attack. We don't know if that's true or not, because like I said, the autopsies, you know how the autopsies go. That's just them telling you. So, yeah, I don't think I can find it. This is stuff. I got so much stuff on here. I don't see it. I got to keep going back and back and back and back. But I wish I could show y'all that video, but that video was really scary. And instead of these people telling her to stop, instead of these people telling her, you're putting yourself in danger, don't put yourself in danger, it was just so important. It was just so unfortunate that expats, repats were encouraging her to continue, you know, this risky behavior. And I believe, it's my opinion, that this risky behavior has really played a huge role in her being unalived, especially when she has, you know, she's out here like having signs on the street that she's selling the chickens now, that she's selling fresh chicken, you know, you can come and get it from her. They didn't like that. You know, they didn't like that. So, I think let me go over here and summarize what I found out about her now. Because see, it's going to take me a while to get to it, y'all. So it's late. Let me go over here and tell you what about Veronica was a content creator known for reporting on unsafe food in local markets. Local supermarkets. She was labeled as an agitator by some locals, and her home was reportedly broken into shortly before her suspicious death. And also the night of her suspicious death, it was allegedly broken into. Of her suspicious death. All right, let me go up here and get y'all comments. There's no reports about Veronica's death being investigated. There's no reports about anything. Nothing. There's nothing. They're saying nothing about Veronica's passing. Nothing. There's nothing under investigation. There's nothing. It's just over. It's just the end of it. There's no nothing. So let's see. See if I could find something real quick. Nope. It says based on the 2023, the case surrounding the death of Veronica Hillstead, often returned as Veronica, the Fallen Warrior. Now, where did they get that from, y'all? The Gambia involved efforts from her family to manage her affairs following her passing on October 3rd. So they did try to do something. Veronica passed away in Banjul on the 3rd of October, 2023. Initially, unverified reports mentioned a potential asthma attack, though friends and family sought formal documentation to confirm the cause of death. So there was none. They were saying it was an asthma attack. They came to us and told us, oh, it was an asthma attack. And I was like, how do you know it was an asthma attack? How do you know? They never could tell us how they knew, because they didn't know. They wanted to shut us up. They wanted to silence us. The family created a GoFundMe campaign that was established in October 2023 to assist with travel expenses for her family to travel to Gambia and work with the U.S. Embassy to handle her affairs. Veronica had moved to the Gambia in 2020 and was known for her work in the local community of Banjul. Look, y'all, no major updates regarding her final autopsy. She don't even have a final autopsy report, or legal proceedings have been widely publicized in 2025 or 2026. The information is provided is based on reports from the immediate aftermath of her passing. Now, that's really messed up. That's really messed up. Let's look at this GoFundMe. Oh, well, it looks like they got the money they wanted for the GoFundMe. Oh, wow. Let me show y'all this picture. She looks so pretty on here. This don't even look like her. Okay, hold on. We're about to get off here now. So this was her GoFundMe. And this was Veronica. Oh, wow, look. So it says, embedded herself in the local community. The smallest country, Gambia. Embedded herself in the local community in Banjul, Gambia, the smallest country in Africa. She was known for being the sunshine and boisterous soul of her friends, referred to her as sister. Local officials said she shook up the town. Huh. Really, they didn't tell how. LOL, Veronica's love for Gambia and for her local community where she passed fueled her passions and life. On the 3rd of October, Veronica passed away and is currently not where her family can lay her to rest. We are currently working with the U.S. Embassy in Gambia to figure out what options. Your financial help will cover the costs of travel, room, and board, and handle her affairs and grab her belongings. Wow, that looks like it never happened. Any amount donated is appreciated and goes a long way. If you are unable to donate at this moment, please, thank you. So they only wanted $2,500. They must didn't realize how much it costs to go to Gambia and do what they were going to do. So they got 28. They got more than enough. So they got what they needed. The donation is over. They're not collecting anymore. So, yep, that's about it, y'all. Nothing is done about Veronica. No investigation, no nothing. They don't even have an autopsy report yet. But $2,500 was not enough money for them to go to Ghana and do anything. Oh, she was too much, TNAK says. Oh, no, London Lady says. Yeah. Just don't buy it then. Right, Gordon Bennett, exactly. Big mistake. That was a huge mistake. That's what put her on the radar, putting yourself in, exactly, Fiona. That's what put her in danger. There's expired food in the store in the West. I know if I go to the shops in the UK, I will see expired food. Yep. These diasporans are bringing their spirituality, but not their common sense. Is she a human inspector? A health? No, she's not a health inspector. Where's her ID card? She doesn't work for anybody. Audrey looked young. Yeah, she did. This is crazy. She is asking for trouble. She did, and she was encouraged by the repets for a woman in her 50s. Yep, she was encouraged by them. International Health Inspector, London Lady Fiona says, this is crazy. As HE double hockey sticks, stay focused says, I wouldn't do this in the States. Call the news stations maybe, but not this, the nerve. Yeah, that's what they said. Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. They called her the ultimate Karen. TNK says yes. How embarrassing. I'd shrink. You must learn to mind your own business. Does she think the customers are idiots? I bet those mashed potatoes I just ate have milk in it. Because you see, I'm starting to have some kind of reaction. I don't even think Karens would do this type of foolery. It's pure comedian. thawed out frozen chicken. Yeah, poor comedy. Colonial mentality, the entitlement, the assumptions of audacity. Stay focused says she can read expiration dates. So can the customers. They know what they're buying. This is a whole fool, you hear. Well, she's gone. And as y'all see, there was no update. Nothing's being done about her, which is really sad. So that's our show for tonight. I wanted to talk to y'all about Pan-Africanism and spirituality and how these ladies are just being led to the wolves because they don't understand what they're doing and where they're going. And as you can see, Veronica really didn't have a clue. And instead of people telling her, what did they do? They encouraged her. All right, y'all, as I get more updates, I will let y'all know. All right, everybody stay cool, stay calm, and stay collected. All right, I love y'all so very, very much, and I will see y'all next week. I'm not sure what we'll be talking about, but you can count on this. We will be talking. All right, I'll see y'all next week. I didn't see all these comments. You must have, even with this crazy lady. I will see y'all next week because we are past our 3-hour mark. Steph will be on here saying it is time to go. She's a crazy American lady. I seen her at Solomon's and she looked at me like she saw an American. Stay focused. Yeah. It was the store owner. Case closed. Next. We don't know who it was, y'all. It was just a sad case. All right, y'all. I love y'all, and I will see y'all next week. Bye-bye.